But I said, if you gave me Mahomes, if you gave me Lamar Jackson with his great legs and Mahomes' great arm, or you gave me Baker Mayfield, who would I want? I would want Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because Baker Mayfield.
I really think that now this is the worst case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers, is that they're going to have to cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo if I were them.
What?
Oh my God! Wow, man!
In any event, Kyle Gibson is definitely my NL Cy Young Award winner. Rock on, Gibby.
And even
oh my!
No way! Oh my God!
All right, I think we had another glitch over there. I don't know what happened, but it's a funky Friday night, folks. We're just going to roll with it. Welcome into our first Sports Weekly in about a couple of months. We've been away doing a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, we're finally back, but yeah, we're back and we're in full swing now. I got my guy James Gonzalez joining me. James, in the spirit of you joining the show, I'm rocking something you gave me, Seahawks jersey. Y'all know I'm a Niners fan, but if someone gives you a free jersey, you gotta take it. So appreciate the jersey, James. And we got a newbie joining us tonight to my left or to my right, and that's my guy Nick Morganson. Welcome to Sports Weekly, folks. I'll start with our newbie, Nick, our rookie on the air, our rookie. Nick, how's it going tonight, Rook?
I'm afraid to be on this show at this point. I have no idea what to expect. When Isaiah's hosting, you might want to run for the hills.
Actually, I'm not going to be hosting. I'm just hosting for the intro portion of the show, but then James is going to be hosting. But James, you know, your Angels won. Whoop-de-doo. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I feel good about that. But, you know, I love watching playoff hockey, and this was obviously a second overtime win, a breakaway goal by Brad Marchand to win it 5-4 for Florida as they tied the series 1-1. Games, 3 will be Monday, and then game 4 will be Thursday. So I can't wait to check those out. And Miami should be rocking. All of a sudden, somehow Florida is the state of hockey. And you have this USA versus Canada thing going on. And you know how they don't, you know, USA wants to keep that title of winning the cup since '93. But, man, it was just a wonderful game. And, yeah, the Angels won, I guess. It's cool. Those division wins are pretty cool as well. But, hey, it's weird to be here back at MI6. I'll tell you what, you got to redo those intros and either have me or someone else in it.
What, you don't like Baker Mayfield over Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson?
Your hot takes are awful. Like, here they're awful. At ETB, they're awful. And I'm just going to reveal the dirty laundry anyway, just because I don't care. But you saying that you could score a basket on Chet Holmgren, I mean, like, really, man? Like, you would get flattened like a pancake against Chet Holmgren. Come on, man.
Well, since we got Nick on here, Nick, yeah, you know, I wanted to make this announcement before I give it to James for the rest of the show, and that is we are actually joining forces with the guys at ETB. You guys can find us on there. We've been doing a lot of watch parties, NBA finals, baseball, you name it. But yeah, Nick, go ahead and just tell the viewers about some of the stuff that's been going on ETB and tell us more about the network.
Yeah, so the network's been around a couple years. We have about 8 or 9 shows. We do a bunch of shorts. We do a bunch of short videos, Instagram, TikTok. And we have a partner called Playback, which legally allows you to watch streams without having DMCA violations, because we all know how much we love YouTube DMCA violations for trying to watch streams live. So currently, if you really want to check something out that we're doing right now, Isaiah's part of it, James was part of it. We saw an incredible ending to Game 1 of the NBA Finals, by the way. Tyrese Halliburton for the win again. I mean, we're going to watch every NBA Finals game with our partner on Playback. Playback.tv/ETB Network. It's free. It's 100% free. No subs, no crap, no paywalls. This isn't Amazon. This isn't Peacock. It's not ESPN Plus. It's literally sign up and you become part of our community and you watch the games. So, NBA Finals, Major League Baseball season. I heard by 2026 we're going to have the NFL. So, there's a lot coming. UFC, we're going to be doing that in a couple weeks. What else? Soccer. Our guys, Callan and Trevor, are going to be doing soccer for the Concave Gold Cup. So, a lot.
Yeah, like Nick said, go ahead and check it out. Me and James have been on Playback a bunch. We've loved it. It's been awesome. But yeah, check it out. You won't want to miss it. Once again, we're joining forces with the folks at ETB. We do have some comments rolling in, but I don't know why StreamYard's got this little box down here.
I just saw that myself.
I know. I've never seen that before. It's like so small, like you can barely see it.
Wait, you don't have a live stream box to the right on StreamYard?
We do, yeah. But I think this is a new feature that they're doing, like on the camera, on the screen, where like they have this little like comment box. Like I've never seen that before, so I don't know what's going on StreamYard. But yeah, Jen says. By the way, Jen is one of our biggest fans on ETB. She said, hey friends, how's it going? But yeah, for the remainder of the show, I'm gonna turn it over to James and we'll talk about some NBA, NFL, hockey, try to talk about some hockey, MLB, you name it. Yeah, go ahead, James. The floor.
Are you allowed to talk hockey?
No.
Hey, this is MI6. Callan's not here, so I am allowed to talk hockey. That's
a scary thought. Go ahead, James.
That's going to be a nice try. Last night, Game 1, as we saw on the TB network, the Pacers shock the Thunder in Game 1, 111-110. Tyrese Halliburton had that pull-up jumper with 0.3 of a second left and made it. It was a last-second effort, but Indiana stole that game. As Callan mentioned on the stream, the Pacers only had a 0.3 of a second lead the whole game, basically at the end. So, guys, I was shocked by it, but even with the Thunder leading by, I think, had a 15-point lead at one point in the fourth, you really never thought the Pacers were out of it. You always thought, okay, they've shown the fight before. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals was just like that as well. And Halliburton had that 2-pointer to send to overtime, and then they took care of business. For me, it felt like this game just came down to, the fourth quarter shooting for Oklahoma City was horrendous at 37%. Indiana shot 50%, and they were deadly from three-point land. Obi Toppin, of course, was kind of the hero with 17 points, keeping them in the game, so to speak. So, I just can't wait for Game 2. But Isaiah, I guess I'll start with you. Man, what's your takeaways from Game 1, and can Oklahoma City, as young as they are, can they bounce back and get better and actually win Game 2 without losing it?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway was that I think the Pacers are the team of destiny, to be honest. Because, like, how many times have they come back from these, like, just crazy deficits and then they come back and win. Like they did that against Cleveland in game 2, where they were down by as many as like 23 at that point. They came all the way back and won that game. They did that against the Knicks when, with 2 minutes left, they're down by 15, and I shut off the TV. I'm like, okay, it's over. I went back to work, and then the next thing I know, Tyrese Halliburton hits the luckiest shot of all time. It bounces off the back iron up into the sky, and then it bounces down. And then they did the same thing, you know, I think against the Bucks as well, that game 5 where they were down by, I think, like 8 in overtime, where according to ESPN, they had a 99.8% chance to lose that game. And then they come back and win. And then you have this game right here. So the Pacers just looked like the team of destiny. I mean, yeah, the Thunder shot really bad, but Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, the guy in the clutch, if you give him a game-winning shot opportunity, more often than not, he's going to make it. I thought early going, though, the Pacers had a lot of issues with the size of the Thunder, like Alex Caruso and Lou Dort. But then I think that what happened is, I think, you know, Rick Carlisle made an incredible adjustment. And then they went to Miles Turner a lot down in the post, which really opened it up. But like you said it, James, Thunder shot the ball extremely poorly in the fourth quarter. I think the Thunder got complacent in that fourth quarter. They turned the ball over a lot in that fourth quarter. And then, you know, like we've seen this postseason, if you give the Pacers a opportunity, just like a little opportunity to get their foot back in the door and to get in, they're going to take full advantage of it. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. Like, I think this is a very destructive defeat for the Thunder because, like, they had this game in the bag. They were controlling the game throughout the entire game. The Pacers, like, first lead of the game was with 0.3 seconds left. And I don't know how you bounce back from it. Like, this is one of those losses that you're just like, it's like a defeat that, you know, snatches your soul from you. And I don't know how the Thunder bounced back from this. Like, obviously they have more talent than the Pacers, but the way that they lost, the way they blew it, like, it just, I don't know how you bounce back from it. But yeah, those were my takeaways. Like, Tyrese Halliburton is absolutely unreal.
Now, Nick, we were watching the game, of course, with you, and you mentioned that all 5 starters had double figures, and then you had Obi Toppin with 17 there, and Nembhard had 14 along with Halliburton, Turner with 15, Nesmith with 10, and Siakam 19. He had some big buckets down the stretch. But you take a look at the Thunder right here. It was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, with 38. Jalen Williams at 17, hit some corner threes along with Dort with 15. Caruso with 11. But there's one guy in this scoring bug here that really didn't show up, and that's Chet Holmgren. He only had 6 points. It felt like a disappearing act pretty much all postseason long, like I mentioned. But, Nick, how did the Thunder lose this game?
Okay, so there's a few ways to look at this game. One, OKC had a 15-point lead, then they would drop to 12, then it would go back up to 15. If you look at the track record of OKC, usually when they get up by 15, then they usually run away to like 30 or 35, and they blow the opponent away. I think they're in the top 3 in defensive efficiency in the NBA this year. So they're one of the best defensive teams, and that's really what's made them the best record in the NBA. But the issue you have is Shai with 38 points was really the bright spot offensively for OKC. Jalen Williams had 17. Okay, that's nice, but he did it on 6 of 19 shooting. Let's see who else. Shai with the 38 points went 14 of 30. Like, so we get psyched out by the 38 points, but how did he score the 38 points is what people don't look at. To go back to the other point you made about the Pacers, where they all scored double-digit points, which is a big deal. When all your starters score double-digit points, it matters, including Obi Toppin, who had 17 points and went 5 of 8 from 3. You heard me during the game. I said, no, every time he shot 3. Because that you and I agree. This is one thing you and I agree with, actually. that that's not his game at all. And he was just firing away. And it wasn't like right behind the line. Like he was firing away from what? Like 26, 27 feet? I mean, so the guy had a game. I think that made the difference down the stretch. And also, can we stop with the Tyrese Halliburton and the overrated nonsense that the rest of the players voted him the most overrated player in the NBA? It is the most outrageous thing I ever heard in my life. This guy deserves to be in the top 5 the way he's playing right now. And we had this argument already. That's why I'm bringing this up. He's over Jalen Brunson right now. And I'm going to get Knicks fans say to me, but you're a Knicks hater because you're a Net fan and blah, 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 blah. Guys, Tyrese Halliburton outplayed Jalen Brunson in the series against the Knicks. I mean, you want to say Jalen Brunson was the only reason they were in the series? Yeah, he was the only reason why they were in the series. Karl-Anthony Towns disappeared at some point and was in the foul trouble in that series too. Was a nightmare. But I think most of the halves, Karl-Anthony Towns had at least 3 fouls going into the half of most of those games. And that's why the Knicks got killed. Jalen Brunson had 4 fouls sometimes at the half. But to go back to this series, this was actually a very well-played game. And the Pacers just hung around. And eventually, it doesn't matter how long you lead the game for. It's just a matter of, are you leading when the buzzer goes off? And that's all that really matters in that scenario. I look at the rest of the bench. No one else really did anything. I mean, Isaiah mentioned Alex Caruso on OKC. I think he is a factor in this series, so the Pacers are going to have to stay on him defensively. Another guy I would watch is Mathurin on the Pacers side, who's had a really good playoff so far. So we'll see what happens. Is it a lopsided series? Yes. OKC is a massive, massive favorite in this series. But with the Pacers winning game 1, there is more pressure on OKC to win game 2 now than there was originally if they had won game 1. Because OKC is used to falling under the pressure. They lost to the 8th seed last year, being the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. I mean, heck, I expect the Pacers to play harder in game 2 and more aggressive in game 2, knowing that they won game 1. And I think OKC is going to come out tight in game 2, knowing that they have to win. Because if they lose both games at home, I think they're screwed going on the road to Indiana. Because first of all, that atmosphere is going to be wild. For the first time since they played the Lakers in the NBA Finals, what year was that again? I don't remember. It was a long time ago now. 2000. So it's been a long time. Pacers fans have been waiting for this moment for a very long time to come back. And if they go up 2-0, I think OKC is in trouble, plain and simple.
Almost like reverse for me, because I felt like the Lakers were playing with their food, and it ended up being a 6-game series. It almost feels like that way with the Eastern Conference Finals this year with the Pacers and Knicks. You thought, okay, it's going to be over in 5. Somehow New York takes it, and they go to 6. And it feels like the winner of tomorrow for me will win the series. Now, that could mean the Pacers, they go 2-0 on the road. Well, basically, they don't have to go back to Oklahoma City if they sweep, or if they do, they only need 1 more to win. Remember, I think it's a 2-3-2 series, I want to say.
No,
it's not. Wait,
it's 2-2, 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, they changed it.
They keep going back and forth.
They had to. The reason they had to change it is because the team that took over halfway through the series was gaining an advantage when they shouldn't be.
True.
So they had to change it and say, all right, we got to even it out at 2-2 in case the first team wins on the road. It wouldn't be a fair fight to then have 3 games on the road to come back. So I get why they did it.
Yeah. So, man. Yeah, one more thing. Yeah, I was definitely wrong on the Jalen Brunson thing. I was feeling a little New York City aura, and that quickly went away with the foul trouble of Jalen Brunson being a top 10 guy. Now, Halliburton definitely is the guy. It all seems like at the expense of the Sacramento Kings or whatever. Game 2 is 5 o'clock West Coast, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then in the Central it's 7 o'clock. So Game 2 on Sunday night. Man, let's get some previews and predictions with this one. I guess I'll go last. But Isaiah, what's going to happen in Game 2? Are the Thunder not going to play with their food and just run them off the floor? Or are the Pacers going to just, run them over with their pace because they know how to beat them mentally and physically? What's going to happen Game 2? Give me a prediction.
Believe it or not, I'm going to go with Indiana. I think the Pacers go and take Game 2 because I think this loss is just so destructive of a defeat that I don't think the Thunder, like you mentioned, Nick, I think the Thunder are going to come out playing tight, that every shot that they're going to be thinking like, okay, it's got to be perfect because if we lose this game, then it might be series over going to Indiana for games 3 and 4. I just think that like the Thunder are going to be playing tight. I think they're going to turn the ball over a lot because of it. I think that there's going to be a lot of missed assignments defensively. And, the Pacers are playing with nothing to lose, right? You already did what you had to do in OKC. You stole Game 1. You stole one of the games here in Oklahoma City. So you accomplished your mission. But I just think that, look, this team, like they feel like the team of destiny right now. I feel like that, Halliburton's got it going. And then when he's not going, Siakam's dropping buckets. Nembhard's doing his thing. Don't forget about, Miles Turner as well. I mean, he was huge for a good portion of that game yesterday. But yeah, I just think the Thunder, like this defeat was just so destructive that I don't think that they're going to come out like that strong. I think they're going to come out wilting. And I think that Indiana gets off to a sizable lead early in the game with their pace and their tempo and their shooting. And I think that they're going to control the game throughout. And I think I got the Pacers taking Game 2. I think the Pacers take a 2-0 lead, and we'll see how the Thunder respond. But if it's 2-0 going back to Indiana, it might be good night to Oklahoma City.
All right, Nick, Game 2, I have just the feeling that the Thunder are going to come out and win, or are they going to be so young and not get over the Game 1 loss in that fashion? What do you think? How do you think Game 2 will come out to be?
So I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually agree with Isaiah on some of the points that he made, which this is shocking, James. I don't think this might be the one and only time I say, because he's right.
MI6 effect.
He's right, because OKC is going to come out and play tight now because they lost the first game at home. That was a big deal. OKC needed to win Game 1 to really set the precedent for the series. And they usually say Game 1 is really one of the bigger games in the series because it determines how the series is going to go. Chet Holmgren's got to play better. He's got to play better. 6 points in Game 1 on 2 of 9 shooting, 0 of 1 for the field, 6 rebounds. 9.6 rebounds is not going to cut it for a guy who is a proficient and actually really good scorer and rebounder. And by the way, the Pacers absolutely swatted OKC on the boards. Big time. They out-rebounded them 43-29 on the boards. That's a big deal. OKC has a taller lineup, and they got out-rebounded. Mm-hmm. And the scary part in the beginning of Game 1, OKC was actually getting third and fourth opportunities on the boards, but really didn't take advantage and put the Pacers away. And that was a big deal. And I think the Pacers are going to come back, and they're going to play a different strategy where I think they're going to be more careful on the boards to make sure they gain the proper possessions that they need in Game 2. I think towards the end, it took it really until the fourth quarter to really run plays for Tyrese Halliburton. You and I were saying this when we were watching the game. They were not running enough double screen action for Tyrese Halliburton to get open. They should take a page out of what they did in the fourth quarter and do it earlier in the game. Because it seemed like Tyrese Halliburton did not want to shoot at all. For the first 3 quarters, it looked like he was being passive and didn't want to shoot. So they got to get him open. If they can get him more open offensively, because 14 points, I don't know if that'll get it done for the Pacers in Game 2, but I think the Pacers win Game 2. I think they're going to be up 2-0, and I don't know if I can say nighty-night to OKC yet, even down 2-0, but in the NBA Finals, trailing 2-0, I'm going to say the odds are not great if that happens. And but I still think there's going to be pressure on the Pacers to win at home in the NBA Finals. So that might be a factor in this series. And that's the way this whole NBA Finals has been going, where the opposite teams are winning on the opposite team courts. That's been happening all playoffs. But I think the Pacers go up 2-0, and you're gonna see a stunned OKC crowd at the end of Game 2 saying, "What the hell did we just get ourselves into, trailing 0-2?"
Yeah, it was dead silent after Game 1, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was not smiling like he did in Denver after losing one of those playoff games. So yeah, we'll see that Game 2 on Sunday. Don't forget on the ETB network on playback.
Yep, join us on playback.
You're gonna be there? Oh,
he is going to be there. Yeah, for the full game, actually.
Thank God. Bean time. Okay, so off the court, and someone who used to be on the sideline for the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, was relieved of his duties, so to speak. That's the nicest way to say it. It was kind of a shocker. I know Isaiah had this as a prediction. Whatever. Take your lap or whatever you want. But I guess the way that the way that they lost the Eastern Conference Finals, they played with the rotation after not playing anybody off the bench really that much. But it seemed like Thibodeau's kind of lost. He lost the not the locker room, but the huddle sometimes. Him and Hart had an issue, I think, at the end of the regular season. Josh Hart, I remember that in the huddle, and then it just seemed like they were not solid throughout the playoffs. They should have dispersed the Pacers easier, and then it was kind of hard to watch sometimes against the Pacers. But let's start with Isaiah, because I guess you had this, but the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau. What did you see were the problems with the Knicks and Thibodeau as we went down the stretch here in the season?
I mean, I don't think, number one, even though it was my prediction that they were going to fire Thibodeau and get Dan Hurley, I was still shocked because I don't think Nick and James I don't think in all of our lifetime watching basketball, I don't think we've seen a coach make it to the conference finals and then get fired literally 2 days later. I've never seen it. I don't know if you
Wait a minute. You're leaving out also that he had back-to-back 50-win seasons. You're leaving out that Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999.
Yep.
I mean,
first time since 25 years. Yeah. But I mean, I've had a couple days to digest it, and it's at first I was shocked, but then I'm to be honest, not really. It's a gutsy move by the Knicks, because you better hope the Knicks coach is an upgrade, because if he doesn't take you to the Eastern Conference Finals and farther, then it's going to be a massive disappointment. But Tom Thibodeau, I don't really think there was really anything wrong with him. It's just that it feels like he reached his ceiling. With Tom Thibodeau, it just feels like he's an Eastern Conference Finals type, and that's it. That's his ceiling. Eastern Conference Finals at best. I don't think you can win a title with Tom Thibodeau, because I think that he's too heavy. He leans too heavily on his starters. I think Jalen Brunson had some issues with that because he had lingering hamstring, knee injuries, and it came out later that was a concern to Jalen Brunson and Rick Brunson, that if they continue to play under Thibodeau and his style, that he wasn't going to last very long in the NBA. So to be honest, I now that I think about it, it's a gutsy move, but I'm not really that shocked, just because I think that Thibodeau, he's got this ceiling. But I'll say this is a James Dolan decision. This was not a Leon Rose decision, whether you guys want to cut it or not, because Leon Rose, his first client with as an agent was Tom Thibodeau. Like Leon Rose, when he first got hired to be the next president of basketball operations, he insisted on Tom Thibodeau to be the head coach. James Dolan reportedly wanted someone different. He was not a fan of Tom Thibodeau. And have you guys ever seen a owner, James Dolan, sit in with a GM or a president of basketball operations and a player in exit interviews? I've never seen that before. I've never seen an owner sit in exit interviews. I have never seen that before. Nick, you look like you want to say something, but
no, I was just going to say that I think over the last couple of years, he's the hands-off owner. That was the reported thing that people were saying. And in case people don't know, I'm in the New York area, so I see a lot of everything that goes on here. But I think what happened here, you're right. This was not a Leon Rose decision. This was not a basketball ops, as they say, decision. This was James Dolan is pissed off at the world and decided to fire Tom Thibodeau. And the other thing that people are not realizing, they owe him $30 million. A couple months ago, they signed him to a 3-year extension, and then they fired the guy. That's what doesn't make sense in this scenario. And there's another report. I don't know if you guys saw it. They're looking for permission to talk to Jason Kidd to be their head coach. And by the way, and I know this experience all too well, he has become a better coach, but I don't think that's the best fit for the Knicks at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know who wants Jason Kidd. James freaking Dolan. This is Dolan written all over it. Every decision that has been made. And this is why I said, like when I did a video on this firing, Knick fans, hide your children, hide everything, because James Dolan is back in charge of the New York Knicks. Like you said, Nick, he was hands off for a good chunk, right? For the last 3 seasons, he's been hands off. And until now, he finally comes back when the team is ready to go. That's why, for the Knicks, it's a scary proposition because now Dolan's involved. Who knows, the next decision you make, the coaching hire, the player signings, or whatever. I mean, there's talks that they're going to try to get Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you know damn well who wants that. It's not Leon Rose, because Leon Rose has said he wants to build the team organically. It's James Dolan. James Dolan always likes the big names. This has Dolan written all over it. And this is just that's why I wouldn't be shocked if, and James, I don't know if you want me to get into coaching candidates
I know Nick wants to add something, and I want to ask you guys something after that too. But go ahead, Nick, with your response.
I agree with you on the coaching stuff, where Dolan is probably pissed off because they haven't won a title since 1973. I mean, it's been a very long time since they've won a title. Now, I'll save my dark horse candidate, which I already said on one of our podcasts on my network, and I might have told you too, James. But what I would say from the player's perspective, that has nothing to do with James Dolan. I'll tell you that right now. The whole Giannis thing, the Knicks have wanted Giannis for a very long time. Okay, now you're leaving one other factor out, that it's not really that easy just to make a trade for a star, because in the NBA, you have to do what? You have to match up the salaries to make the trades work. That is a big deal. So Giannis is making close to 60. They have to figure out how they're going to match the pieces to gain that $60 million salary that he's making. And the only way you're doing that is by trading Karl Anthony Towns. It's the only way. You're not trading Brunson. You're not trading OG. I would be okay if they traded Josh Hart, because I think he's a disaster in a Knicks uniform. Who else do they have? I mean, I like Miles Deuce McBride. I think he showed some promise. Not a starter, like a second unit guy. By the way, the whole Shamet nonsense was stupid. Like people, oh my God, Landry Shamet played really well. Shut up. I don't want to hear that. So Shamet had a few good games. That's not the reason why they were in the games. Jalen Brunson was the reason they were in the games. And like you said, Isaiah, the problem with Thibodeau is that he plays 7 guys. That's the biggest problem. The reason the Pacers won this series, they played 12 deep in this series. Much deeper roster, better players, and it allowed them to be more flexible down the stretch. So this firing is on Dolan, but the player situation is on Leon Rose.
Okay, so I've got a couple of things real quick. I think Karl-Anthony Towns has something to do with the firing. He had something to do with the firing in Minnesota of Tibbs, and now the second go around. And also, what was I going to mention too? The Knicks, before Tom Thibodeau, you remember their horrible starting lineups, with or without Carmelo Anthony, before and after Carmelo. Instantly, Thibodeau brought them winning and getting to certain places they haven't gone before, like this season. I feel like the Knicks kind of jumped the gun on this, but they think they're somebody. I like what Isaiah mentioned yesterday, where they think they're the New York Yankees, where they have to make these drastic moves, and they have to win now when they don't have the talent to do it, and they're not deep enough to do it. Like you mentioned, Thibodeau, Nick, with only playing 7 guys. That was obviously a problem. He was forced. His hand was forced to play Shamet and others. He did not want to do that. I really believe that. All right. So the New York Knicks here, and I think there's a name missing, or a couple of names missing on this, but they are interested in talking to a number of current NBA head coaches, like the Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd, along with his backwards hat, Chris Finch of the Timberwolves, and the Rockets' Ime Udoka. Really? And then they've been also linked to other guys like Pistons assistant Luke Walton.
Oh, God.
Former Kings coach Mike Brown.
Oh, jeez.
And I know this one is totally Isaiah's. It's UConn head coach, 2-time champion Dan Hurley.
Well, no, he was in the candidate list that
he's always been in the candidate list.
Yeah. I'm just putting out the candidates thrown out.
I'll give you another.
I never think he's going to leave UConn though. His style would never work. That's why I disagree with this.
I'm surprised that he didn't take the Laker job if he was going to take an NBA job, but I don't think the Knicks situation is any better than the Lakers, if you ask me, because now they're in the process of blowing it up again, which is what I didn't think they were going to do, and that's why the Knicks are never going to win a title because they keep blowing it up every 2 years. So
No,
go ahead. I'm good.
Okay, so however, according to this script, former Nuggets head coach Mike Malone, according to Stefan Bondi of the New York Post, is not an option. Well, that throws my one dark horse off of the road there. I have Rick Brunson being the head coach of the New York Knicks next year. I feel like they're gonna. I think they're gonna hire within. You know, Jalen's the main player. He's gonna get what he wants. I have like a weird feeling about that. Like if they don't get any of the head coaches that I talked about right now, they're just gonna hire within, like any company would. But that's also crazy in my mind. I might be crazy right now too. Isaiah, so where do you think the Knicks go from here? You know, all the coaches you mentioned that could be candidates, could not be. Knicks could talk to them. They could talk to whoever they want. It's all about the players on the court. I would say who's your Knicks head coach, or who's your at least top 3 that are going to be talked to by the New York Knicks?
Well, I think that this job is going to be extremely coveted because this is the New York Knicks, right? This is like the Lakers. It doesn't matter if they're down or whatever. Like, you're going to have people flooding to try to get the job. And also what makes it exciting is the Knicks just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, this is a roster that's ready to compete for a championship. So you're not walking into a team that's like, you know, only winning like 18 games, 20 games, or rebuilding. Like, you're walking into a situation that you're ready to win now. So I think a lot of coaches are going to be interested in this job. About the current coaches that you named, James, like, number one, Mike Malone, let's get this out there. I don't think he was a good fit to begin with the Knicks because he's basically he's got the ring, but he's Thibodeau 2.0, like hard defensive coach. He got fired in Denver because he didn't play his bench. He got fired also because he didn't really have an offense outside of feeding Nikola Jokic the ball. That's pretty much it. So that would have been Thibodeau 2.0. So I'm thinking I don't think he. I'm glad that the Knicks are not really considering him. Jason Kidd, Chris Finch, Ime Udoka. If I'm Ime Udoka, why would I want the Knicks job? It's the Knicks, it's that brand, but you got an up-and-coming situation with the Rockets. You just made the playoffs, so it doesn't make any sense. Chris Finch, Minnesota would never let him go, so you can forget about that. Well, Jason Kidd, I could see because Nick and James, when the Luka trade was announced, Jason Kidd did not seem like he was a fan of it. I don't know if you guys saw the press conference with him and Nico Harrison. He was pissed. You could see that, and he was just going along with what Nico Harrison was saying. So I just don't. I mean, I could see him wanting out of Dallas and trying to go to the Knicks because he did play there, and I could see the Knicks wanting him because he is he's been to an NBA Finals and he's probably better than your other options like Mike Brown. I'm not touching him. Luke Walton. I mean, I could see why they want Luke Walton because if you're going to fire Thibodeau, it's the approach. Thibodeau was a hard-headed disciplinarian, my way type of my way or the highway type of guy. Do you guys know Luke Walton's approach? He's a guy that's players first, very chill. So if you're going to move off of that hard-headed guy, of course you're going to go the other way and try to get a Luke Walton. But like I said, I think this really depends on who's making the hire. Is it James Dolan or is it Leon Rose? If it's James Dolan, I'll give you a couple candidates. If it's James Dolan, number one on the list, and I know he said he's not going to do it, but Rick Pitino. Because James Dolan and him are best friends. He donated over $3 million to help St. John's. They're buddies. Dolan likes the big name. What bigger name than Rick Pitino in New York City? And also, James Dolan, this could be like a Jerry Reinsdorf situation with Tony La Russa where he wants to rehire his buddy and rectify an old mistake that he made in the past. So James Dolan, number one. Rick Pitino, number one. As far as other candidates, I would probably say Dan Hurley, because New York, his father coached in Jersey City. That's what Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 minutes. Madison Square Garden's about 30 minutes from there or something like that, roughly.
A little bit longer, yeah.
Yeah. So it's close. Hurley grew up a Knicks fan. It seems like if an NBA job, if he's going to take an NBA job, I feel like that's going to be the one. He likes the bright lights, Madison Square Garden. And the thing that's different, I feel like, than the Laker job, though, is with the Laker job last year, he wasn't leaving a situation where he could potentially make history and do a three-peat. Now, there's no history because they lost in the second round to Florida last year. So I think Dan Hurley is a candidate. He's a great mind as well. Do I think his raw style will fit? We'll see. But and then I think the last candidate that I would like the Knicks to take a look at, if Mike Malone's not on that list, that's rough. But
oh, looks like he's gone away. Okay, so 3 things I was going to mention, Nick, just about his candidates. Rick Pitino, I think, was last the coach of the Knicks back in 1990 or 89. He was let go.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Stu Jackson became the coach, I think, before Pat Riley. So there's a little history there, but again, I don't think that's going to happen to me. Now, I think Chris Finch is expendable in Minnesota. I believe his offense is not tailor-made to Anthony Edwards. That's why they had some road bumps. I know they disposed of the Lakers, but they had a tougher time against better opponents. And the offense just seemed to be just one man. Walton is crazy. Mike Brown is crazy. And I literally would go with Mike Malone just because you want that a new voice, a new intensity, where it's not as brash as Thibodeau. Also, it would be great because his father, Brendan Malone, was an assistant with Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy back in the 90s with the New York Knicks. Now, let's go, Nick, with you here. What are your 3 candidates for the Knicks, or at least in your mind? What would help them, in a way, find the coach to get them over the top?
Okay, so in my opinion, Malone is nowhere near the answer for the Knicks head coaching position. I think he fit well in Denver. I don't think he can run. I don't think he's like a top head coach. I think he's a good head coach. But when you have Jokic and you have Jamal Murray and you have Aaron Gordon, I think that helps you to be a decent coach and you don't really have to try. Go ask Steve Kerr about being in Golden State with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Kevin Durant eventually. Like, that helps you to win a title and multiple rings. So Malone is not the answer. I think Jason Kidd is definitely not the answer. I would stay far away from that, especially because of some of the things he's done off the court at the same time. I don't know. Is Dan Hurley really the answer? Like, I know Isaiah keeps saying it. He's a really good coach in college. He's got a little too much abuse of power in UConn, if you ask me, a little bit. But I'll give you a dark horse that I've said already. And it's not one that you would think of right now currently, but there's a Knicks relation to what I'm about to say here. So I would go Jeff Van Gundy as the next head coach of the New York Knicks. He wants to be back as head coach. He wants to coach again. He's an assistant right now on the Rockets bench, I think. Oh, Clippers? Clippers. So I see that he's doing that. He wants to be a head coach. He's been begging to be a head coach again. Now, will he fit today's style of basketball? That's a whole different issue. Because I think Mark Jackson's wanted to be a coach for a long time, and no one will take him back. He definitely does not fit today's basketball. So I would throw Jeff Van Gundy in there. He can handle the New York media. We know that already. He won't take any BS from how the New York media handles New York sports teams. So I would go Van Gundy. I would stay away from Hurley because I don't like the abuse of power in UConn. I think that's not a good look. And what Isaiah fails to realize sometimes when he throws Dan Hurley or Rick Pitino into the fire, the college game is different than the NBA game. It is very different. The rules are very different. The recruiting is different in the college game than it is for the NBA game. So Dan Hurley has never been. He's never even been an assistant coach. You're going to throw him right from being a head coach in college to an NBA head coach? Like, I think it would have been a disaster, actually, if he ended up as the Lakers head coach. Can you imagine him versus LeBron James if he was the head coach of the Lakers? I mean, it would have been a disaster. So, give me Jeff Van Gundy.
So, okay, Luke Walton obviously would get overran like he did with the Lakers, and LeBron. Someone is just going to override him every play, basically, if he was a head coach again. Okay, and then to the Jeff Van Gundy thing, all the things you said are definitely true about him and the way he would handle New York again. He was a coach, I think, back in 97 to 2001, I believe.
Oh, when he was the Knicks head coach?
Yeah, when he was the Knicks head coach. They did get to the finals once, yes, for sure. The only problem is you mentioned about coaching today's game. Now, on the Clippers, he was an assistant, but I called him a defensive assistant only. He literally was setting up defenses, but he didn't really have a touch on the offense. That was more Tyronn Lue and whatever James Harden and Kawhi wanted to run ISO.
Oh, my God.
So, Jeff Van Gundy, as great as he is, and I know he wants that last head coaching job to go out with a bang. The way he was let go at ESPN, you kind of know, okay, he wants to get back in the spotlight somehow. I would love for that to happen too. Okay, so also, God, there's so much Knicks talk after a loss. That's fitting. They're also preparing to make a seismic move to shake up their roster this offseason, as Milwaukee Bucks writer Jerry Wolfel reports that the Knicks are preparing a tsunami-sized offer for Giannis. And ESPN's Shams Charania says that they will revisit a Kevin Durant trade this offseason. That is crazy.
That is awful. Really bad.
Yeah. And then there was a point, I think I got sent a message by Isaiah out of like the hundreds, that Kevin Durant was looked at to be a trade deadline candidate this last season for the New York.
They made an offer too, according to Shams.
But why would you take him? He's injured.
True.
Don't ask me, ask the Knicks. They made an offer.
So what? You were going to basically put him on the shelf until he got healthy again? Like,
that's how desperate maybe they were to get some more scoring on the team.
But who are you trading for Durant?
That is the problem. That is the key that I see, that they can't really do much unless they trade Cat. You're not trading Brunson, like you mentioned, Nick. So they don't have, I don't think, the picks, and they don't have the team depth to make a trade. So Isaiah, Giannis going to the Bucks in a trade, they would have to move some stuff around and people around and future draft picks beyond the world. Isaiah, how do you see this going in your crazy mind? Is Giannis, after 12 years in Milwaukee, going to New York, or is he going somewhere else? What are you thinking?
I mean, I think me and Nick talked about this when we did talk about Giannis, like opening up, like, you know, to potentially leaving Milwaukee. It was going to be a big market, right? So we had mentioned, I think LA was one of them, New York, but New York was like distinct possibility. I mean, I'm not surprised because, like you said, the New York Knicks, they think they're the New York Yankees. That's what they think, that they can get every superstar in the world to come to New York City and get every big name coach in the world. That's why they're hunting for all these big names, like you see. So, like, I'm not shocked, like, that they're doing this, because this is what the Lakers do. This is what the Knicks do. So, like, I'm not shocked whatsoever that this is happening. Like you mentioned, Woelfel says that they're preparing to make a tsunami type offer to acquire Giannis.
First of all, who's this source you pulled it from? Because I don't even know who that is.
It's a beat writer for the Bucks, Jerry Woelfel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name
I looked
correct.
this up. I don't even. I love. First of all, I think you pulled that from NBA Sentinel. By the way,
didn't.
Oh no! Again?
No, it was from Legion Hoops.
You mean Legion Hube? Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Right there.
I don't know who that writer is. I looked that up, and I don't see anywhere where he tweeted that or put that out.
Well, hey, let's have our we got our little MI6 writers all go and fish it out right now. But I mean, Durant, no, because he's too old. That's the problem with him. He's too old. He's too injured. Giannis, I would, because who wouldn't want Giannis and Antetokounmpo? If the Bucks said, look, we're trading Giannis, of course you got to make an offer. But you're probably going to trade Karl Anthony Towns, who, look, I would trade Karl Anthony Towns because he did nothing in the postseason. I'm just trying to match salaries off the top of my head. I mean, how much does Mitchell Robinson make right now?
I have the. If you want to put that picture down, you can too.
Yeah.
But let me pull up the Knicks salary cap. I have it right here. So let's look at the 25-26. So Karl Anthony Towns is making 53. OG's making 39.5. Brunson's making 35. Mikal Bridges is making 25. Josh Hart's making 19.5, and Mitchell Robinson's making 13 million. Those are the important guys.
And they don't have picks, too. So you got to get the picks out of it, too.
Yes, but again, it's what I said before. You have to match the salaries or it does not work.
Adenubi and Mitchell Robinson, but maybe that's still not enough.
Let me
Of course,
look.
Towns.
So
Feels like we're playing 2K.
Anunoby's 36.6, and who was the other one you said? Robinson? No, it's not enough
Yeah, it's not enough. You would have to add another in there.
because that's only 50 combined.
The spacing with Kat and KD or Giannis, that's what I would kind of be worried about as well.
You mean Jalen and KD or Jalen and
No,
Giannis?
No, I'm talking about the big guys.
From a trade perspective, he's talking about that. First of all, I would stay far away from Kevin Durant
Thank
right
you.
now. And Kevin Durant can't stay healthy, number one. So why would you put him out in the New York spotlight where the New York sports media is going to beat the living crap out of Kevin Durant for every game he doesn't play? And then when he doesn't score 25, 30 points, the media is going to give him a field day also. So why would you bring him to New York so that he's going to get embarrassed? That's what I don't get.
Kevin Durant will have to make some more burner accounts on X.
And he failed in Brooklyn already.
Yeah.
Why would you come back to New York?
It's the Knicks probably aura. Okay, so let's move on from that, but stay with Kevin Durant. The Suns hired Cavs assistant Jordan Ott to be their head coach, and the team is reportedly opening up Kevin Durant trade talks. And we'll try to get it done prior to the NBA draft. Do you think that happens, Isaiah? Or is this going to be a lingering issue going into the summer league, the offseason, and into training camp even?
Well, first of all, the Jordan Ott hire is a terrible hire because it speaks to Matt Ishbia's involvement with the Phoenix Suns. Matt Ishbia went to Michigan State. If you guys have seen the connections, he's been hiring a bunch of Michigan State guys to run the Suns. And Brian Gregory was a failed college head coach. If you can look up his record, it was abysmal in college. Somehow, some way, he gets an NBA GM job despite not even having prior front office experience. He only got hired because him and Matt Ishbia, the owner, were teammates at Michigan State. That's why he got hired. And he's the GM of the Suns. And Jordan Ott was the video coordinator of Michigan State. I don't think not when Ishbia played there, but it was something to do with Ishbia, but it had something to do with Michigan State. This is not a good hire for the Suns. God, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why I blacked out for a little, but no, Jordan Ott is a bad hire because number one, I don't agree with hiring a first-time head coach to coach this team. Number two, it shows that Matt Ishbia's continued involvement with the Phoenix Suns, and that Ott is just a puppet for the Phoenix Suns. So this is a terrible hire for the Suns. Nobody's gonna stand up to Matt Ishbia. He's gonna continue to be involved in the operation. It just makes no sense. If I'm Devin Booker, I'm saying see you to the Phoenix Suns, and I'm getting the hell out of Phoenix because this team is going to be a disaster. You don't have any picks. You don't have any assets whatsoever. The sources, the reports are that the Phoenix Suns don't want anything to do with Bradley Beal, and they want to work with Bradley Beal on a buyout. Good luck telling Bradley Beal to give up $50+ million. Good luck with that. Well, that's not going to happen.
You're leaving out another factor too, which he's gotten, and I think Isaiah knows because I've said this before.
Clause, yeah.
No, but I call no trade clauses the idiot clauses that teams give out, because why would you give any player a no trade clause? You're basically putting yourself in a bad situation giving a player a no trade clause. So now you're stuck with his $55+ million a year that you can't do anything with. Kevin Durant's going to get traded for the fourth time in 4 years, it feels like.
Yep.
Devin Booker, this is going to sound harsh, but I don't think he's a top 10 player at all.
I don't think he is either.
And I think he's a little overrated, to be quite honest. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you're an asshole and you don't know anything about basketball. And I'm like, well, what has he done? He's not a consistent scorer. He will score 50 points in a game, and then he'll go 10 games without scoring 20.
Let me rebuttal with that too, or agree with you more on that. Nick, I thought he was on a trajectory to being like Jason Tatum. Remember, Tatum lost the finals and won. Devin Booker got to the finals after losing, I should say. Tatum won one. And Devin Booker hasn't been back since his 21 loss, and the Suns haven't been close back to the finals, right? And it seems like they lose worse every year. Like it's a conference finals loss, the second round loss, semifinals loss. And now you have first round losses. You have losses by 40, 50 points against, Dallas that 1 year, where Chris Paul hit that three. Now they're down 47, whatever it was. So it feels like Devin Booker every year has digressed in my mind, and he'll never get to that point. And I don't think he could carry a team, honestly. I don't think he's that guy to do that, like Tatum could be. So he's definitely. It feels like he's definitely overrated. Isaiah, did you have more about this?
I think he's there.
No, yeah. I think that like I said, I think Booker needs to get out of Phoenix. Jordan is a terrible hire. As far as Durant, like I think the latest reports I had heard that the Suns were not getting any traction because their price was so damn high. Here's the reports. They want a center. That's one of the things. So could I see the
Who
Knicks,
wants a center?
The Suns. The Suns want a center.
Bullshit.
They have Nurkic.
They don't
The
want to
Suns, no, they don't. They sent Nurkic to the Hornets. He's
that's right.
He's rotting away in Charlotte.
But wait a minute. Why would you go after a center when your whole star system is getting blown up? You got to figure out the roster and the salary cap and how much you're going to be over because you're going to have to eat some of the salary trading some of these guys. So I don't think they're worried about a center right now.
Well, and then they're trying to reportedly talk Bradley Beal into either sitting out the season or taking $50 million to buy out. But it's like that's not going to happen.
They're going to have to pay him anyway.
Yeah, but nobody in the right mind can take $50+ million just to sit out. Or they're not going to.
I think he's overrated also.
Yeah.
For years.
It's a disaster in Phoenix, and I think that I feel like the Knicks, since we talked about the Knicks earlier, the Knicks are trying to maybe turn into the Suns because if you do what you do with Durant or Giannis, this is going to have a effect right there.
I like Giannis. I think he would be a good fit because again, he's more of the power forward that they need. Karl Anthony Towns is like a power center, and it doesn't really work because he's kind of in between what position. He doesn't know if he should be a center driving to the hoop or if he's supposed to be shooting jump shots from the elbow or threes. So I think Giannis, is going to drive downhill to the basket every time. That's his game. He's going to post. James, you love the old-fashioned post game. So do I. And I feel like that's missing in today's game because of all the three-point shots we see. It's way too much. Steph Curry basically destroyed the game in that sense by just shooting 10 to 15 threes a game, and we ended up being okay with it. So I don't know what you do in this scenario. The Suns are fucked in a lot of ways because they tried to pull a big three when the NBA changed the rules on now having the two apron system when it comes to the salary cap. And I think they're deep into the second apron, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to cost them anywhere from $3 all the way up to $25 million over that they have to pay. So Ishbia can do whatever he wants and spend whatever money he wants, but he's never going to win a title in Phoenix. Having money doesn't mean you win. Go ask James Dolan how that's working out right now in New York.
Man,
well, and I think Ishbia is turning into Dolan 2.0, to be honest with you, with all the bad hires and the bad moves that's been making.
Ask Ishbia also because he basically did the whole digital thing with his network. Also, it's no longer on TV; it's on this digital network, and that's the only way you can really find the games at this point in time. But it's one of those weird things where he's supposed to be a new age owner, and he does everything from a digital perspective. But
Nick James, like Charles Barkley said, the pretzels are still rock solid. The nachos are still stale. The jalapenos are still not spicy. Come on, man. You can do whatever you want with the Suns. The Suns, they're a disaster. I mean, their tickets are $8, man. Come on, dude.
Those are the nosebleed seats.
Yeah. Dirty seats. Yeah, I could correct you on all those things on Charles's rant. That's a top 5 moment for me and my favorite show of all time.
By the way, Charles shouldn't be talking because he hasn't won a title.
That's that part right there. Man, we'll see what happens with that. Let's go down south to Florida, like a lot of people do. The Orlando Magic. Whoa. They also, before I get to the story, they unveiled their new uniforms, or at least 3 of them. And 2 of them looked great. The white one and the blue one. And then they had a mix of the old black with the blue on top. If they kept it all black, it would have been A+ for me with the rebrand, going back to the 90s fusion for this year's. But I loved them for the most part. Anyway, not only are they going to try to look good on the floor, but also play better. They're trying to get over the top, and the way that they can do that, they're preparing to be major players this offseason, whether it's trade or free agency. I would think trade because they're kind of deep. But Isaiah, you brought this up. Now, other from Giannis and maybe some players on the Knicks or Kevin Durant, what players do you think the Magic are targeting to either free agency or trades to get them over the first round hump?
I feel like they need some shooting. I feel like that's what they lacked in the first round. If you watch that series against the Celtics, yeah, the Celtics played some really good defense, but the Magic had a lot of open looks. They just weren't knocking it down. Their shooting was utterly horrendous. So I think they need some three-point shooting. I think that, I'm not surprised that they're willing to be like big players in free agency or trade, because this is a team that went to the playoffs back-to-back years. I think they lost in the first round both years, but this is a team that's I think needs to take that next step. So I think they need some sharp shooting, like guys that can be automatic from 3-point land. A player that I would target if I'm Orlando, if his team does trade him, is Michael Porter Jr. I think that he's a guy that would be able to knock threes down. I think that, he can play well with Paolo and Wagner, but I think they need a lot of 3-point shooting help. They just weren't able to knock their threes down. They're a good defensive team, but they just can't knock threes down. And I'm trying to think of others. I wouldn't pursue Giannis or Durant if I'm the Magic. Although I think, Nick, if I'm not mistaken, I think Orlando was one of the places I had Giannis as an option for, but I think they need shooting. I think that's what they need. They have KCP still. I would, you know what? If
on the older side.
Yeah, yeah. If the Lakers trade him, how about Dalton Connect as a guy that can knock down?
What is your obsession with Dalton Connect?
He can shoot. He's a guy that's an automatic from three.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not drunk.
Dude, the guy can't shoot at all. And you want to put him on a team in Orlando which actually has good shooting? I mean, I do agree with you that Orlando should stay away from Kevin Durant because I think he would ruin that young core. I would put Giannis there though, because I think that would be that would be amazing.
Yeah,
putting Paolo and Jalen Suggs and who I'm forgetting the rest of the guys. Those are the two. Oh, and
Wagner.
The Wagner brothers, and that would be incredible. Putting Giannis in as a power forward or a center on that roster, that would almost be unfair with Paolo being there. So if you want me to pick one, I'd put Giannis, not Kevin Durant. First of all, I would keep Kevin Durant away from young cores because I think he would destroy them. But I mean, dude, keep Dalton Connect away from all rosters. Just he is not as good as you make him out to be, man. Why? Because he's on the Lakers roster with LeBron? Is that why? No response?
I hate that.
Absolutely. Well, no, first of all, he put up 37, 27 in one quarter, man. Come on, dude.
That's one game, man.
But he led all rookies with 15 plus points scored in games. Yeah, it's not a lot, but come on.
The Lakers suck.
Doesn't matter. If he played in the postseason, they would have knocked out the Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you really think the Lakers are going to beat the Wolves?
If Dalton Connect played, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. This is the same guy. This is the same guy who said Ben Wallace is better than Shaq.
I hate this so much. I should have never been here. We'll see what the Magic do, though.
But yeah, I agree with you, Nick.
Still not an all-star. What is your takes, Isaiah? Let's just get away from the NBA. We're done with that. Good luck to Orlando, though. I'm liking what they're doing, at least.
I like what they're doing.
Let's get to the NFL. Now, Aaron Rodgers finally broke his silence. Finally was done with all the partying and whatever else. We have a lot of partying in the NFL segment, so stay tuned for that. But Aaron Rodgers signed a 1-year contract with the Steelers. The deal is expected to be around $10 million, potentially with incentives. the Steelers are reportedly looking to sign Rodgers to a deal worth less than 20, though, with all the incentives. So we kind of all knew that he was going to be there. And 24 hours ago it happened, thank goodness, or less than, but or more than, I should say. But we knew that the Vikings were high with J.J. McCarthy and were going to start him no matter what. And that's why, Sam Darnold was not brought back. So the Steelers, it's just weird because they traded, what's his name, to Dallas. So he's not there anymore.
I'm forgetting
I'm in off-season mode right now. But they did get DK Metcalf, but they also have, I think...
Pickens.
Pickens went to Dallas. And that was kind of weird because if you knew you were bringing Rodgers in...
Would you give him another weapon?
Yeah. They might get Geno Smith, the tight end from, I think, Miami. But again, that's really not enough. I don't think he's ever thrived in a 2 tight end set, really. It's always been his wide receivers. And right now, other from DK Metcalf, you don't really have much. And the free agency is basically done. Of course, the draft was what it was. Guys, I know it's a 1-year deal, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to work, especially in that black and blue division that is the AFC North. Isaiah, what was your reaction when Rodgers finally signed on Thursday to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I mean, my first reaction was finally, because I think that this has been anticipated for 3 to 4 months, ever since April, or ever since I would say when they passed on Shedeur Sanders. That's when you had a clear vision that Aaron Rodgers was going to go to Pittsburgh. So that was my first reaction. Finally, I think my second reaction was I actually like it. This helps the Pittsburgh Steelers actually become good.
Are you high?
I'm not high. I'm telling you, I looked at the stats yesterday. I was stunned. He had 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. I thought he was really putrid, but 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
Awful.
He had 14 touchdowns and 3 picks in the final 7 games of the season. That's good.
They're pretty careless. That's why the games didn't matter.
You're sugarcoating everything he did last year.
But you look at this team. What was Pittsburgh? They had a really good defense. They had awful quarterback play. Weapons were okay. They made the playoffs literally with a great defense. You don't think that they can do it with Aaron Rodgers? I think this vaulted Pittsburgh into Super Bowl contention with the move that they had.
Fuck out of here.
Yes. This vaulted, because you look at the AFC. Kansas City's on the downturn. Yeah, they just went to the Super Bowl, but still, their weapons suck.
What is wrong with you?
I'm telling you, their weapons suck. Their defense is getting older. Kelsey's probably
42-year-old quarterback, you moron.
Yes. Who's better than Russell Wilson and Justin Fields? Come on, man.
What does that have to do with the Steelers?
Because the Steelers, all they needed was very little, little improvement from what they had, and they would have been.
So you traded Pickens away?
Well, no, you have DK. Pickens is always going to get traded, dude.
You have Robert Woods, you have Calvin Austin III, Scotty Miller, Ben Skowronek, Roman Williams.
That's a terrible receiver core.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to get better.
And Darnell Washington as your tight ends. That doesn't scream to me one of the best in the AFC offensively. And you don't have Najee Harris, who ran well the last couple of years.
I was stunned when they got rid of him, too.
Yeah, I think what happened was that they had to force him to run hard. Remember the first couple of years, he was really struggling trying to find his way. Jaylen Warren took his starting spot and just seemed like he was trying to make up for the lost time by running harder and getting more yardage. But they knew they couldn't get more out of him. But I just don't see it, Isaiah, as an AFC Super Bowl candidate. Nick, what was your reaction to the Steelers finally getting the news about Aaron Rodgers coming to their team, avoiding the OTAs, partying and whatever else? And then what's their ceiling to you as they are constructed right now?
Now, disclaimer on this, because I'm a Jet fan, so I've seen the Aaron Rodgers blow up and nonsense. before, including last year. The guy's 42 years old. Number one, he broke his what was it? His leg or whatever after 4 plays. Achilles. Oh, he tore his Achilles after 4 plays. Mm-hmm. This guy is. I'm sorry for the SpongeBob reference, but glass bones and paper skin. I mean, he quite literally can't stay up on his 2 feet. I mean, the guy can't get out of the pocket. He's going to get sacked a bunch because the Steelers defense did struggle a little bit last year, keeping whoever the quarterback was up on their feet, whoever that was.
Russell Wilson.
Well, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
Mitchell Trubisky at one point, I think.
First of all, that quarterback room is an effing disaster over there. If you're going to tell me Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback all year, I'm willing to bet you on that because it's not going to happen. He's going to get hurt at some point. He's going to go out and blame everybody in the media. He's going to go make his Pat McAfee show takes during the year, which Mike Tomlin despises as a old-fashioned traditional coach who doesn't like talking to the media whatsoever. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't follow rules whatsoever. Basically, Aaron Rodgers follows the Aaron Rodgers rules. And you asked about ceiling? 4 to 5 wins? Maybe?
Damn. Wow.
Look at what he did. Look what he did with the Jets.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Steelers,
I didn't expect that.
The Steelers are kind of in a rebuild, if you think about it a little bit here.
Wow. That's a fun hot take.
I mean, you got the extreme low and you got the extreme high.
You're just an idiot that you think that they're a potential Super Bowl champion.
We have the high and the low right here. That's amazing.
Isaiah, you can't be serious to say that Pittsburgh is a potential Super Bowl contender.
Absolutely serious, because I think they would have won the AFC.
You're going to tell me with a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers who can't stay healthy and has his conspiracy theories that AIDS was created by the government, apparently. I mean,
right? Yeah.
You're going to tell me this idiot is going to lead the Steelers to a Super Bowl title this year?
I'm not Super Bowl title. I think that they could win the Super Bowl. I think
that's
a
cop-out. That's a
cop-out. Dude, I said.
No, it's a cop-out. You said that they were a potential Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. I still think they are, because I think
a wager coming.
Are you willing to put a bet on it?
I'm not putting a bet with it on your. I'm not doing that right now.
You said you put a bet on it.
I bet my coworker $10 that the Steelers would go to the Super Bowl.
That's not a real bet.
That is a bet. Come on, man.
Just like you bet that the Knicks were going to beat the Pacers, right?
$45.
Look at their division, though. You know, Joe Burrow's. Speaking of getting hurt, Joe Burrow's going to get hurt again.
Which, by the way, I was right about that the last 2 years on the Bengals. Yeah. I said that they were going to flop the last 2 seasons,
and they're going to flop again. I think. Yeah,
I think they're going to flop again. But don't tell me that with Aaron Rodgers they're a Super Bowl contender.
I do, because I think they're going to win the division.
How many games are they winning?
The Steelers.
Yeah.
Right now.
How many games?
I got them going 12-5.
What?
Yes, I got them going 12-5. I think they're better than the Bengals. I don't trust them. The Ravens are. I mean, they lost pieces. The defense is not that good. And then you have.
Hold on. We're going to pull up the schedule here because Isaiah's going to blow my mind and try to tell me this.
We're going to. Yeah.
All right. So, wait, that's the preseason or regular season. Okay. So, right off the bat, they play the Jets at MetLife. So, they're going to get the circumstances right away. He's going to go into MetLife and play against the New York Jets. I think the Jets are going to have a defensive party.
Oh, my God.
They know him.
They're going to have a defensive party wanting to sack Aaron Rodgers.
They know he can't run.
He can't run. He can't. They know this first-hand experience. I think the Jets win that game against the Steelers.
I disagree with you. I got Pittsburgh, but go on.
Steelers, Seahawks, week 2.
Is it in Seattle or is it in Pittsburgh?
It's in, or no, they're playing Seattle, so I guess that's at home. Yeah, at home.
Win, yeah. I don't trust the Seahawks.
I think you're being a little too. All right, the Vikings. Or excuse me, the Patriots. Patriots week 3.
I think the Patriots make an improvement, but I still think Pittsburgh wins.
The Vikings week 4?
In Minnesota?
No, they're it's at home. That game, by the way, week 3 was at the Patriots.
Yeah, but I still think the Patriots. Like, I think the Patriots are an improved team. Now, we'll talk about Diggs in a little bit, but yeah.
You're going to tell me they're going to beat the Vikings?
No, I got them losing to the Vikings.
All right, the Browns I don't count.
Twice.
The Bengals, week 7.
Split.
Pittsburgh's always had success with the Bengals, even without Rodgers.
But you're playing Joe Burrow. Stop. Even though I don't like Joe Burrow, you can't disrespect Burrow there.
But it's also early in the season, though. You got to keep that in mind. Burrow always sucks early, or the team sucks early in the season.
It's week 7. It's Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's in Cincinnati, right?
At Cincinnati.
Feels like a Cincy blowout to me.
Yeah. Week 8, Green Bay at home on Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
I think that's a loss.
Okay, week 9, the Colts. I think that's probably a win.
That's a win because Anthony Richardson's. He's not even like
he might be out for the year.
That's what they're saying.
Week 10, the Chargers.
I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. Actually,
are you kidding me?
I don't trust them. I like Harbaugh, but I don't trust them.
All right, week 11, the Bengals again.
Swap the week 7 win for me with Pittsburgh over Cincinnati to the one. I think they're going to split home and home.
All right, at the Bears, week 12.
Oh, win easy.
Oh, what do you mean easy?
I want to see how the Bears come out.
Trash.
Week 13, the Bills. If you tell me they're going to beat the Bills, I will absolutely annihilate you.
They're going to lose to the Bills. They're going to lose to the Bills. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I have like what 4 losses right now.
Week 14, the Ravens. They're not beating the Ravens.
I think they're going to beat the Ravens. I think they're going to beat the Ravens.
Are you kidding me?
Because they play the Ravens very tough, even without Rodgers. Their defense. They're going to win a lot of games because of that defense.
A 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers is not beating the Ravens. Sorry.
All control defense. That's how you
it's
win.
At the Ravens.
Never. I take that back. Then they're gonna lose. They're gonna beat the Ravens once in Pittsburgh. But...
Week 15, Monday Night Football, Miami at home.
Oh, it's easy, dude. Win. Dolphins suck, dude.
Week 16, the Lions.
Loss.
Oh, and then they play the Browns in week 17. And then they play the Ravens again in week 18. So.
Yeah. So I had 5 losses right there.
They're going to have more than 5 losses. They're definitely going to have more than 5 losses.
I'm going to say 10-7 if Rodgers plays the whole year.
He's not playing the whole year.
That's why I said if.
He had to stay healthy. I say you are way too confident in Aaron Rodgers. Way too confident.
Well, I'm also confident in TJ Watt and that defense, too. Like, I think that defense is...
You need a quarterback that's healthy.
I think he's going to stay healthy, to your point.
Are you crazy?
Yes, I think he's going to stay healthy. I trust that offensive line more than I did with the Jets.
No. What?
Yeah, the offensive line for Pittsburgh is way better. But, James, go ahead on your take on Aaron Rodgers.
No, I'm just happy that he finally signed. It was funny. It happened after the McAfee show. I thought it was going to be during their live from TST. But he surprised everybody, I guess, like he always does. But I think we all knew it was going to happen. It doesn't really make him anything better. It would have with George Pickens. But
agreed.
I don't understand that. And they're not in the running for anybody else unless they make that trade they would have last year. The 49er receiver that held out. Isaiah, give me the name.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, I thought that was really going to happen, and then he would get his money. Instead, DK Metcalf got that money. So that's why it's not really going to happen. Deebo Samuel has been traded to Washington. I don't know what they're going to do offensively. And without Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, not the same guy, I feel like.
But you know what? At the same time, I appreciate the fact that the Steelers are not letting him run the room.
Okay, that's another thing too.
Trust me, they're going to get
Tomlin.
Lazard. They're going to get
Mike
Lazard.
Tomlin.
Wait, who?
Alan Lazard. They're going to
No,
get
they're
Lazard.
not.
Dude, they will.
They're going to bring in all the Rodgers.
They're not.
Actually, by the way,
Tomlin already said he's not going to.
They're
Wow.
hosting Gabe Davis right now, by the way. That was the latest report.
What?
Okay.
The receiver from the former receiver of the Bills, they're hosting Gabe Davis.
Okay.
So?
That could be their second receiver or third. Mike Tomlin's not going to go for any malarkey, basically. That is going to be... You thought last year was stressful on Mike Tomlin. This year with Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be even more stressful.
I'll give you another take. I'll give you another take. Aaron Rodgers gets Mike Tomlin fired at the end of the year.
Whoa, that's burning hot.
Wow.
But in that scenario, but I don't see that. It's just a 1 year guy, and Tomlin's been there forever. And he hasn't lost the locker room, though.
I think they've wanted to get rid of Tomlin for the past couple of years, but because
they
of
did
his
just extend him, though.
No, but I'm saying I think the only reason they're doing it is because he's got the streak of 500 or better records, and that's why they're not getting rid of him. If they flop this year, I could see them moving on.
The Steelers without Mike Tomlin. That would be wild.
They've had two coaches in, 40-something years?
Okay, so Chuck Noll was 1969 to 1992. Cowher was 93 to 2006, and then, or 05, no, 06, and then Tomlin since 2006 or 7 has been the coach there.
That's crazy to have three coaches in 40-something years.
That's greatness right there. That's like what the Packers did at quarterback so far with Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. All right, so let's get out of Pittsburgh. Let's go to a boat. Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs has reportedly missed all but 2 practices of OTAs. They're optional. And was recently caught on a video partying up on a yacht with the identified pink powder, cotton candy. And Coach Mike Vrabel, Mike Vrabel says, hey, the team is aware of the video, and we want our players to make good decisions on and off the field. Basically, you saw what happened. I wouldn't do it, but these guys do it. Whether legal or not, we'll find out. Whatever. A party is a party. Isaiah, I think he's back with the Patriots now, or he made his appearance earlier this week.
After the video, he went to the first practice.
Isn't that funny how this works? I think the owner said, hey, I want you to come in here and tell me. Like, I like partying too, Robert Kraft would say. But you can't be doing... How did a phone get on the boat? You know, that normally isn't the key in these parties.
Vrabel had an answer for that, though, by the way, if you remember at the presser.
What did he say?
He basically had to say, well, we put him to the side until we could figure out what was going on with this substance.
That could be that's a bigger story for another day, pretty much. Might be next week. Isaiah, what do you think about this? Is Stephon Diggs' career, is it dwindling down now with the Patriots? Is he going to be a problem there with Drake May with the Patriots this year? I think so. What do you think, Isaiah?
You know what's funny is that, like, I feel like every offseason we get some sort of like Stephon Diggs drama or Stephon Diggs story. Like, it's not an offseason without a Stephon Diggs story or Stephon Diggs drama. So, like, it's typical Stephon Diggs drama or story for this offseason. But to be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots cut him, to be honest. Because he's like, what? He's coming off a torn, is it Achilles or ACL? Like
ACL.
ACL, yeah. He's getting older in age. It's a 1-year deal. And I feel like Mike Vrabel is kind of trying to do what Belichick used to do in New England, which is put that iron fist down and establish a culture. And I just feel like that, like, he doesn't want that drama with Diggs and everything. Like, I think they just signed him because the New England receiving room, let's face it, they're awful. Like, they don't really have any, like, good weapons there. He would be an upgrade, but I mean,
Diggs is a head case.
Yeah, but I don't know how he's gonna be, honestly, coming off the injury. Is he gonna cause problems with Drake May? No, because I think if he's there, Drake May's gonna flourish because he's gonna have at least a decent receiver to throw the ball to. But he's always gonna cause problems. Like whether it's not being happy because he didn't get the ball. Like I think that was the thing with Houston where he was not happy in the early going that he wasn't getting the ball from CJ.
Josh Allen with Buffalo.
Like there's always something going on with him. So I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut, to be honest, because like Mike Vrabel seems to be the coach that's like no nonsense. I want to put the iron fist on the organization.
Oh, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I don't know. Stephon Diggs is an idiot. He's been through this. This is not the first time he's been on a boat incident, I think, either. If we remember the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. Was he on with
Odell?
No, that was...
Or was that Dante Culpepper?
2000. Yeah, that was Dante Culpepper in the year 2000.
That was a sex boat, if I'm not mistaken, either.
I missed out on that, but I was too young. Go ahead, Nick.
But this is not the first time we've seen boat incidents in the NFL, including the Odell one where they I think they took pictures with Justin Bieber or something on a Miami boat, and they ended up getting blown out by whoever they played after that. Oh, Green Bay. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever this substance is like a pink lemonade looking substance in that bag.
Sex pill.
Maybe that's what I said to some of my guys on the network, that I think it's some kind of unfortunate date rape pill or something, which I hope it's not, by the way, but like this guy's got issues and he's dating Cardi B. We forgot about that too.
No way.
Yeah, he is. She was on the boat with him while he was doing all this stuff. So it was a little awkward because she started like going after him after he was handing them the substance from this baggie or whatever. But Stephon Diggs is a head case. He didn't get along in Buffalo. Him and Josh Allen, I think, didn't get along either, if I'm not mistaken. And he was going to be gone regardless if he had the injury or not. I think he was looking for a new place. He also had issues with the Texans. Minnesota, the Texans. He's had issues everywhere he goes. He reminds me a little bit of T.O.
Not as exuberant.
No, but I'm saying all the drama, not being able to stay in one place.
That's true.
Even though T.O. should be a Hall of Famer.
He is.
Well,
he just didn't go to the ceremony. He had his own at Tennessee Chattanooga or wherever.
Actually, I'm thinking of Ocho. College. He's not a Hall of Famer. He should be a Hall of Famer.
Ooh, I think as the years go on, eventually he'll get in.
But the Hall of Fame doesn't like him, though.
That's true.
And they didn't like T.O. for the longest time, if you remember, because every time he would do his antics, the Hall of Fame would keep him out.
That's the reason he went to his alma mater, I think, Tennessee Chattanooga, and he had the the Hall of Fame ceremony in the arena. That's how much he didn't want to be a part of it.
Was he? Who was the one that wore the Hall of Fame looking jacket with the
Ocho Cinco
with the question marks with the 20 on? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
I miss all that, but I'm fortunate to get out of the wide receiver part of the show and go to Major League Baseball. Yay! Isaiah, which of your teams would you like to start off with? Since you have,
can I not start? I want Nick to start. Let's have Nick start. I don't want to talk about.
Okay, Nick, the New York Yankees. I saw Paul Goldschmidt taking ground balls at second base. What is going on with that?
I think that might have to do with the whole DJ LeMahieu situation, injury, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. First of all, I forgot that he was on the roster this year because he's been so injured. But the Yankees somehow are in first place. Somehow. I don't know how they did that. I think they beat the Red Sox tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see the whole game.
9-6.
Ben was probably not happy. The Red Sox stink big time. Like they're really bad. I kind of feel bad for Ben a little bit, the way that situation is. They have Bregman out, I think, for 4 to 6 weeks at least with a hamstring or it was when he was running
down the line. Yep.
Yeah. So they're screwed. Tampa Bay sucks. Blue Jays, I don't know they always make a run and then they stink and then they overpay everybody. And Baltimore already fired their manager. So the Yankees are going to win that division, whether they like it or not. So the Yankees are the Yankees. Max Fried for Cy Young, anybody? I mean, 8-1 now, ERA under 2, and don't give me the bullshit nonsense with Leiter with the Rangers, because he's not. And don't tell me Patrick Corbin either. He sucks.
Or 8 innings, 2 runs tonight. Come on now.
Stop it. Patrick Corbin sucks.
Always have. Other from that championship year. Some other news I saw with the Yankees. Jazz is back. The Jazz music is back. He had 4 RBIs today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Volpe exited with an elbow contusion after he got hit by a pitch. And then, you mentioned Farid bounced back from his lone loss with the win. And then Oswaldo is rehabbing from his ankle injury. I was mentioning to Isaiah, they've kind of had to shuffle things around on their infield. And then I wanted to talk to you, Nick, real quick about the Dominguez situation out in left field. That young prospect, we saw him in spring training just have the worst time with fly balls. And now he just lets it fall in front of him, it seems like. Are the Yankees going to make some trades to, boost their outfield? Or are they just going to stick with who they have? And what's going on with the infield?
I mean, they kind of effed up their infield a little bit. The way they set up. They should have left Dominguez in the infield and not messed with it. I think he was a shortstop originally when he came up.
Wow. They could bring him back in?
They should just do that. But I don't know why they put him in the outfield, because they wanted his bat so bad. Yep. Now, his bat has been good. His defense has been awful. The DJ LeMahieu thing has kind of forced them to bring Dominguez up too, because DJ could, when he was healthy, would play 3-4 positions on the field. And he was like a utility guy that would win the batting title every year. So it's a weird situation they got to figure out. Also, with Stanton being gone, people forget about that too. And watch, he'll come back for the playoffs and hit like 8 home runs in the postseason. People will be like, we don't need him for the regular season. We pay him for his postseason performances.
That's what happened last year. Yankees, of course, first place, 39-23. And you'll get to see the New York Yankees on national spotlight here against Boston Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, the Fox game of the week, and then Sunday Night Baseball. What are you watching on Sunday? Boston, New York, they're at the stadium as they try to rock in the Bronx again. Isaiah, again, what teams are you rooting for, and what are they doing?
I mean, I've been dreading this moment because I was one of the people on here that I think we did an MI6 show, and I said the Rangers are going to go to the World Series and win it. And you know what? The Rangers are despicable. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. You're right, Nick. They suck, and they're, honestly, Nick and James, they should rebrand. They shouldn't be called the Texas Rangers, because they're literally putting the disgrace to the Rangers name. They literally play like this person right there on the screen.
My God.
They literally play like Chicken Little. This team can't play like fuck. They literally yesterday they lost on a walk-off ground ball. A routine ground ball to second.
This moron did a 3-minute rant on a ground ball walk-off victory.
Because it was pathetic. That's why. And you would have done the same thing if the Yankees.
And you're pathetic because you're an Oakland A's fan trying to say you're a Rangers fan.
Let me rant about the Rangers. The Rangers are so despicable. They lost on a walk-off ground ball that got 2 runs in because the first baseman literally somehow went to second base. I don't know why. He's out of his mind. I mean, Jake Berger might need to be checked for drugs. You look at this. I mean, Simeon did his job. Gets the ground ball. And then what is Robert Garcia, the pitcher, doing? Like, James and Nick, you guys all follow baseball. Isn't baseball 101 taught to the pitcher? You run to first base to cover first when the ball is hit on the ground. What is your fat ass doing just sitting there and walking to the first base? I mean, my goodness.
Can you do that?
He was walking. Like, what are you doing? And then this is not even the only thing. There's another clip, same thing against the Rays, where Rays guy hits a home run off the center field back wall, and you think about Canseco being funny with the ball hitting him in the head and it goes out. How about Evan Carter getting doinked in the face because he freaking like was watching the ball sail over his head off the wall and hits him right in the face? Or how about when ground
Did it go over the wall?
It went over the wall.
It was just because the batter's eye at that minor league ballpark is really close up. And usually when you have a batter's eye at a major league ballpark, it's like 30 feet away from the wall. So it's just weird how it is.
Right. Yeah, like
in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, and then like I think the other day there was same thing against the Rays. Kumar Rocker doesn't run a first base to cover first base, and the Rays get an easy hit. Like, it's not the Rangers are a bad team that they can't hit. Like, they can pitch, but they can't hit. But it's the fact that you're seeing a Bruce Bochy team do stupid, boneheaded plays like that. Like, I understand if you can't hit, that's fine. But to not, like, run the first base, or like in Kumar Rocker's case, dude literally walk to first base. Or in Marcus Simeon's case, where he just, like, hesitated, had a brain fart, threw home late. And then, by the way, this is the clip of the Carter one where it's muted because I don't want to, get taken down. Look at this.
See, the batter's eye is right there, and booyah.
But wait, it was over the wall. It looks like on the fly.
It's just because the batter's eye is so close to the wall that it ricochets back down, and you can see the blood on his nose.
Okay, but that's not on him. That was a home run.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Blame the pitcher.
Happening to the Texas Rangers right now.
Okay, but then why did you make it sound like it Jose Canseco'd himself and went over the wall?
No. I'm saying like the stupid things that's been happening to my team. Like,
okay, but that's not stupid. That's bad luck.
Yeah, bad luck, whatever. Everything's happening. Well, look at this play right here. This is the first play. Look at
I saw this play.
What are you doing? Run down. What are you doing?
By the way, can I point out one thing that this play looks similar to?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Andres Galarraga perfect game where Miguel Cabrera ran too far off of first base to get the ground ball, and the umpire got the call wrong. But
right.
But you're traveling too far from first base as a first baseman there.
I never looked at that.
No, he was. I think if you watch it, Berger was already close by where Simeon was. So
yeah, but the first baseman is traveling too far to get that ball in the hole. There.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Rangers, they can't hit. I mean, everybody that watched the game tonight, I mean, we got shut out by Mike Soroka. Mike Soroka in the year 2025. The Rangers, I watched the whole game. First pitch outs, guys just taking pitches right down the middle. Like, nobody's just trying to get on base. Everybody's trying to hit for the home run. Like, I don't get it, man. Brett Boone should have never been hired as a hitting coach because he doesn't have any, like, head coach or coaching experience to begin with.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he should have been hired as the hitting coach for the Rangers. He doesn't have any experience right now. And then, sadly, Bochy might be done, honestly, with how this team is playing. Like, I don't know what you do, honestly, anymore. Like, the pitching's doing well. Corbin, Leiter, they're all doing well. Malley, Evaldi. DeGrom's actually pitching well. They're just not hitting, and they're making these stupid errors that it just reminds you of like a Chicken Little like ball club.
By the way,
what is your obsession with Chicken Little?
Because the Rangers are playing like Chicken Little right now. You don't remember Chicken Little before?
No, I know what Chicken Little is, you moron.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you remember like him stepping up to the plate and he looks up, the spaceship, like the sky is falling, gets hit in the face with the ball? That's how the Rangers are playing right now.
They're playing like you.
So Kumar, without Harold and without White Castle, was returned to the injured list, and then he was sent down to AAA Round Rock. Also, Chris Martin was put on the IL with shoulder fatigue. It seems like he's going through a lot the last couple of years. Not the lead singer from Coldplay, but the former Red Sox and Dodger reliever. A lot of things are happening with the Texas Rangers. Patrick Corbin, who had a complete game effort, lost. That's old school. And
that
did it only take
school.
about a minute and 50, I think you said, Isaiah?
Yeah, the game took 1 minute and 50 seconds today.
Back in Washington, in which Alex Call hit his first home run in his career, I think, by the way, too.
And the Rangers were getting no hit for the first 6 innings of the game.
Ouch. They scored, I think, in the first and the seventh with the Nationals. What is Texas 29-35, fourth place? Somehow, some way, Isaiah, if you don't have any more to say, the Angels are somehow one game better than the Texas Rangers right now. Kyle Hendricks did get his 100th win in his career. I thought he would have had that a long time ago with the Cubs all those years. But he's 3-6 now. They had a fun back and forth game against the Seattle Mariners tonight, in which they will start a 6-game homestand with the Mariners and the A's during the week. But yeah, taking on the first place Mariners, they definitely showed their power at first. The Angels came back and had some really clutch hitting tonight. That was really great to see. Zach Nettle's been a great leadoff guy. He's been hitting a lot of home runs, and when healthy, it just shows that he's becoming one of the best shortstops offensively and defensively in the game. Travis d'Arnaud also had a home run. And Chris Taylor finally had an RBI single, and we were waiting for that. We were wondering why the Dodgers let him go, and he's just not producing like he should. But I want to see him kind of mentor those young Angels somehow, if he can. Shiny Wells had a good hit for the Angels to bring in a run. But, yeah, to hold on like that, a young team like that, to get that win. They're 29-33. They have Seattle Saturday and Sunday, night and day game. And then again, 3 with the A's, 2 night games, and a Wednesday afternoon special in which the Rats might show up for that game at the Big A at 107 against the A's. Remember, earlier this year, the A's were swept 4 straight in West Sacramento, by the Angels, so that should be fun. What can I tell you? What else? Mike Trout has been really good ever since coming back from the injury. He had a 6-game hitting streak ever since he came back, and unfortunately that stopped tonight. He went 0 for 4. They had him at 5th, and they moved him up to 3rd, and that kind of has been an Achilles heel. I think the most valuable Angel has been Kenley Jansen this year. He got his 13th save tonight. The main thing I'm looking for with the Angels is the ending, and then trading the players at the right time. You have Taylor Ward, and there's been rumors going around. Pittsburgh, San Diego might be interested in Taylor Ward, and if you need a closer, the Dodgers, Kenley Jansen might come back there. You never know. There's also some other trade candidates, but I don't want to say they're playing well because, they did take 2 out of 3 in Boston. They lost 2 out of 3 before that in Cleveland. They had a lot of fun back and forth games with Ben's Red Sox this last week. It was a lot of fun to listen to. But other from that, it just seems like the Angels already, they're playing out the season. There's really no hope, even though they're in 3rd place, that they could come back. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Tyler Coburn. Corbin Burns needs Tommy John surgery. Now, I talked about this on another show, but I believe it was Saturday night.
Yeah.
He had some, I guess, elbow fatigue or something of that sort. He basically said, "My arm is dead." And whenever you hear that or see that being said, I think of Max Scherzer in 2021 in the playoffs, where he had the dead elbow and he was unable to pitch and help LA try to beat the Braves. Now, Corbin Burns, he's been decent with the Diamondbacks this year, but Jordan Montgomery hasn't. Zach Gallen is probably a trade candidate. And the Diamondbacks, they're basically, along with the Rockies, the only teams under 500 in that NL West. They were doing well at one point, and then they can't do anything right lately. Isaiah, let me go to you first. Now, the loss of Corbin Burns is big. I mean, does this signify the end of the Diamondbacks this year? I'm taking a look at their standings. I know it's early, but they're 31-31. They're 6 out of first place. Their offense is here and there. You have to wonder though, they're suspended today in Cincinnati with rain. They were tied with 3-3 there in Cincinnati, so they'll probably finish that tomorrow. But with Burns missing the rest of 2025, Sunday night against Washington, he felt the tightness in his elbow. He's going to have the Tommy John surgery. We'll see him sometime probably late next year. But should the Diamondbacks just really implode this season? Do you feel like they're not really going anywhere? I mean, imploding, but I mean, not be aggressive at the trade deadline if you know you're not going to be contending. Do they trade Zach Gallen? Just what do you think? Is Corbin Burnes? That's a big loss, of course. I'll get your words on that. And then what do you think the Diamondbacks should do from here?
I think the Diamondbacks should tank, to be honest. I mean, you look at their team, like they're not gonna win the NL West. They win the NL? I mean, the NL make the playoffs in the NL maybe, because the NL, like there's not that many like good teams out there. But it's a huge loss because he's in like the first year of a 6-year contract, and he's going to be out, I think, like almost all of next year too. So, and I mean, the guy is 30 years old. So be like, by the time he comes back, he's going to be 32. And this is, I think, this is the first Tommy John, but yeah, it's a huge blow for them. He was one of their better pitchers. And you know, you look at that rotation, like Gallen probably will be traded. Merrill Kelly, how's he doing, by the way? I haven't really kept track on him. He's got 3.43 ERA. He might get, I mean, he could be a trade piece, but I think the Diamondbacks, like, this sucks for Corbin Burnes. He was supposed to be a huge like get for them, but he's just, you know, with this injury, it sucks. And yeah, I think Arizona, they should start selling at this point, because like you're relying on Eduardo Rodriguez, who you signed to a 5-year deal a couple of ago. He's got a 6.70 ERA and a 1-3 record. Like, I just don't think they have enough pitching. Their offense is okay. Their bullpen is trash, but if you don't have pitching, you're not going to be able to win. So I think they should just blow it up.
You know, I was amazed when they got Sewald. I thought he was going to be their closer, but they keep messing with him and this young guy to be the 8th and 9th guy, and they just don't really have a standard bullpen, what you really need. Nick,
I think Sewald is still traumatized from that Seager home run, to be honest, because he hasn't been the same ever since then.
You might be right there, and you know that for sure. Nick, what do you think about these Diamondbacks? They're 31-31. Like I said, they lost Corbin Burnes to Tommy John. He was 3-2 with a 2.66 ERA, and it seemed like he was finding his way up until that last Sunday, where he got the 2 outs of the 5th inning, and then felt the elbow tightness, and it turned out to be the worst case scenario for him. What do the Diamondbacks do from here?
It's a good one. I mean, he's been hurt before, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think he's had some ailments before. I think in Baltimore or in Milwaukee, and then obviously went to Baltimore. Didn't play great. Could have been better. Then signs a huge deal with Arizona. That's a huge blow because he was the ace, which they paid a lot of money for. So they might have to go out and make a deal. But where are they in the standings? Oh, they're fourth
place.
So they're not making any deals. They might be trading people away. They're going to be sellers at the deadline. They have the big 3 teams in front of them, essentially. Dodgers, Padres, Giants. They're not beating any of those at all. So it's going to be basically trade bait all the way up to I don't even know. Is it July 31st or August 1st this year? I have no idea. But the D-backs who were in the World Series how many years ago? A couple of years ago?
23.
And had no chance, by the way. But it kind of sucks because I liked a couple of years ago the way they were going with the team, and then they kind of blew it up, and it led to injuries again. So it's another rebuild for Arizona.
Right. So let's get to the standings real quick and our biggest surprises and disappointments from the first 60 games of the season. I would like to mention that it took the Rockies, of course, 60 games to win 10 games. They did sweep the Fish in Miami in the worst attended probably 3-game series maybe ever. There was a tropical storm nearby too that kept fans away from Marlins Park, but that always is the occasion. Isaiah, I guess I'll go with you first since you brought this up.
No, go to Nick first on this. Actually, I need to do some research real quick.
Okay, you should have been prepared. You could just base it off the standings.
Yeah, really.
Like I do. Nick, your biggest surprises. So your good surprises, just one from the NL, one from the AL. Simple as that, Isaiah.
I'd say the Cubs are a surprise in the NL Central. No one expected them to play this well. It's been a long time since they've played at the top of the standings this way. Everyone was expecting the Brewers again to run away with the division, and so far they're 34-30 and kind of in the middle of the pack doing nothing. So that was a surprise to me that the Cubs are playing way better than people are giving them credit for, as they're 15 games over 500 leading the division. The obvious surprise in the AL is the Detroit Tigers, which no one expected them to have 42 wins.
That's true.
And Skubal, who is probably another AL Cy Young candidate, it's going to be a battle between Skubal and Fried to see who blinks first for the Cy Young award. The way Skubal's pitching, I think there's more pressure on Fried to win the Cy Young award, because Skubal is just out there throwing gas like 100 plus miles an hour, striking out 10 people a game. Like, Fried is striking out guys, but they're making more contact on Fried than they are on Skubal. So I would say Detroit for the AL, and I would say the Cubs for the NL.
Yeah, Skubal had another win. I think his start before he had the complete game shutout. He's just been so entertaining. He had an inning against the Red Sox that was just amazing and entertaining at the same time.
His breaking ball, by the way, is insane. The movement on that thing.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right. The Tigers, they're just a lot of fun. I knew they were going to be in first place, but I didn't know they would be this good.
Javier Baez, by the way.
Moving to center field, getting an ounce of confidence. He blew up on an umpire, I think, a week ago. That was fun to see. But you know what? He's kind of fitting in. His numbers aren't amazing, but they're better than what they used to be.
Who gave him that contract? Was it Chicago, and then they traded into the Detroit? Or
Detroit did.
No, Detroit. They wanted Bregman, or not Bregman.
They wanted Correa because the old manager was there, AJ Hinch, and I thought that was going to happen.
And then they overpaid Baez, and they're regretting it ever since.
That's right. Other from him, it's all these young players like Green, Spencer Torkelson. By the way, he's had such a renaissance of the season so far. It looked like his career was over at first base for Detroit. He's putting up great numbers this year. The whole lineup is really potent. And then their pitching, they just got better with the bullpen in the offseason. They just look brilliant. Isaiah, are you ready for your...
well, Nick didn't give his disappointments yet.
I did.
Okay, we'll go like that then.
I didn't give my
surprises. Yeah, you gave your surprises.
The disappointments, Nick, of the NL and AL. This is kind of tricky.
Yeah. I got to think about this for a second. I mean, maybe the AL East a little bit as a whole was a bit of a disappointment to me, because I didn't think the Yankees were going to run away and be at the top of the division. I thought it was going to be a very competitive AL East, and I didn't expect the Red Sox to be 30-35. That one kind of shocked me a little bit. I thought they were going to play better. And the Orioles who've been really competitive over the last 5 to 7 years, completely fell off the map. When did their manager get fired again? Because Isaiah, you did the video for it.
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, yeah. And they were 17 games under 500, too, at that time.
So, and the Orioles are the only team in the AL East that are a minus run differential at minus 88. So, I would say the Red Sox and the Orioles are a big surprise. In the NL, the Braves. I would say the Braves are a surprise. Now, they got riddled with the injury bug. early in the year, so that didn't help it. Ronald Acuna got hurt. Then he went after I can't remember who it was for not running to first base.
Oh God, the hot shot first base or right fielder, and he went on X saying, "Oh, I would have been benched if it was me."
Yes, and he
Snickers
went after,
on the hot seat.
he called out Snicker for that too
Yeah.
on the tweet. So there's a lot of ego and problems over there, and they might do some blowing up over there the way this is going. So I would say Atlanta is probably the big disappointment for me.
I think it was Jarrett Kelenic who
Yes.
hit that ball, and he thought it was gone. He didn't hustle down to first. He ended up, I think, at first right off that
Didn't even
right
get a double.
field brick wall. And I
Right.
hate when that happens. Any level of the game,
Just run until the ball is back.
run out of the
Like,
box, basically.
yeah.
I hate when that happens. Isaiah, are you ready for your surprises and disappointments? I'm already
I am.
disappointed in you. For the NL and AL, Isaiah.
Yeah, for the NL, my biggest surprises for the NL is I probably would say, I mean, there's a lot of good teams. Probably the Cardinals, to be honest, because I thought the Cardinals were going to be absolutely trash this season. I thought Marmol was going to be fired mid-season, but they are 7 games over 500. They're second place in the NL Central right now. There's a legit shot that they can go to the playoffs this season when it was supposed to be like a transition year for the Cardinals. Like, I don't know how long this is going to last, but right now, yeah, they're probably the biggest surprises for me in the NL. In the AL, I would probably say the Rays. I think just because the Rays and the Jays combined, because I think for me, I had the Jays in last and I had the Rays second to last. But I think what I kept saying about the Rays was when we did our preview show was the Rays, whenever there's no expectations, they always shock you. But whenever there's expectations, they always underperform. So I think that probably would say the Rays and the Jays just because of how they're playing. They're both tied right now for second in the AL East. So that's a big surprise. I thought John Schneider was going to be gone. I thought Mark Shapiro, their president, was going to be gone. I thought Bo Bichette was going to be a trade candidate, but they've turned it around. Disappointment. I think in the American League, I mean, can I go with a homer pick? But it's an obvious pick, though. Like, no, I mean, the A's and the Rangers, both of them. Like, the A's lost like 19 of 20 games or last 20. They went like they had a 13-game losing.
They lost 13, and then I think
they won 1.
7 in a row. 7 in a row.
Go ahead. Tell me how you think they're a fraud and that you're never going to root for them ever again.
No, we're not going to this debate. It's too late.
No, James.
I didn't hear this.
This jerk over here says because he was an A's fan and he abandoned his own team to be a fan of the Rangers. How many freaking baseball teams are you rooting for at this point?
Oh yeah, what's your other team, Isaiah?
Oh, the Rangers. Yeah, they suck. I mean, they can't hit. They pitch good. They can't hit. They're doing stupid things out there.
But you can't abandon your team. I've been a Yankee fan since 1996 when I was 3 years old.
Yes, I understand.
And I've seen some pretty shitty baseball for some time that they went through after the 90s and all that shit. And it was since 2009 when they made a World Series, for crying out loud. Did you ever see me abandon my team? No.
The team didn't move, though. That's the thing.
That's the part.
What does moving have to do with abandoning a team?
Because they left.
Are you a fan of the team or no?
I'm a fan of the team and the city.
That's BS. You know it. Are you a fan of the team or no?
I am a fan of the team.
So then if they move and you're a real fan, then you remain a fan of the team.
And they stole my job, but we're not going to get into that.
That's why you're not rooting for the A's
anymore? Exactly. I forgot.
So many hot dogs.
Did I give my disappointments already? I don't know if I did.
We're all disappointed in you. No, I think you have National League left.
Oh, I mean, Nick, you mentioned the Braves.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna mention them. I think you're right. I think Snicker's probably done in Atlanta. Did you guys see the one where like the pitcher blew out his elbow and he was like shaking in pain after every pitch, and then like Snicker?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
Who was that?
But, it was Shire Smith. He's one of their like 4 or 5 starters.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a really bad thing. The pitching coach and Spencer Strider were talking about it. But
Yeah, they had to
Snicker just sat there in
Yep.
silence, basically, and didn't really see anything. Maybe he's
kinda
losing
nuts.
his touch.
Yeah, I think Snickers done, but I would say probably the disappointment is Cincinnati. Like I thought they would
Yeah.
take that leap. They're stuck in they're just stuck in the mud, you know. Like
But they never
they're
get out of their own way, though.
Yeah, but you thought with Terry Francona there, like no David Bell, that maybe he would work some magic, but like
Okay, but Terry
Here's-
Francona is old-fashioned style manager baseball.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
I mean,
work
but-
anymore.
but he's still better than David Bell. I mean, David Bell was trash with the Reds. And
I don't know how David Bell lasted as long as he did.
Thank you. He would fight all the other players and the managers.
Remember,
He'd
he would
always
come
get
running
thrown
back.
out
You remember he come running back out of the dugout? What was that brawl that he did
Oh,
that in?
against the Pirates. Where
Against the Pirates, yeah.
Amir Garrett went over to the Pirate dugout by himself.
David Bell
that was
lasted 8 seasons, by the
That was just Yasiel Puig, also, if I'm not mistaken, in that
oh,
brawl.
He had one against the Pirates as well around that time.
That was incredible.
There was beanballs and much else.
Yeah, but I
Weird.
would say the Reds because their pitching is Hunter Green's on the IL, by the way. He might miss the season from what I was hearing. And then Ellie De La Cruz is like the only thing on the or he's the only one on the offensive side that's doing much. So I'll probably say the Reds.
Okay, for my AL surprises, you know who I really want to say, but I don't know if they're a surprise. I know the Twins eventually they're going to fall out, but Houston, I think a lot of people doubted them because they lost who they did in the offseason, a bunch of veterans. You know, they did get Christian Walker. He's been pretty good for them. They just lost Blanco, one of their starters, to surgery, so he's out the rest of the year. They're doing it with their young players, and it's been pretty funny to see. Brendan Rodgers came over from the Rockies to the Astros. Would you imagine how happy he is playing ball right now? By the way, they're still selling Brendan Rodgers jerseys at Coors Field in the in the concessions. It's
Oh
just
my
crazy
God.
to think about the tale of the Rockies. I don't have to say they're disappointing. The record shows for them. But the Houston being 35-28 in first place, I think that's the biggest surprise for me in the American League, other from what you guys mentioned.
I mean, the Rockies just being the Rockies at 12-51, I think just says it all. It took them how many games? 60 games to finally get to double digits?
Yeah.
And they swept the team too to get to it.
By the way, you see that run differential minus 183?
I see it right now. Because my NL surprise would be I'm torn between the Giants. I'm torn between Milwaukee. It's either Milwaukee or San Francisco. I'd probably go Milwaukee just because of the free agents they lost. Literally, Willie Adames went over to San Francisco, and he hasn't done as much, but San Francisco, their lineup's pretty good, but their pitching has really carried them. Milwaukee, it feels like Jackson Chourio has to really do a lot of the heavy lifting other from Yelich, and eventually, he'll get hurt, sadly to say. But Jackson Chourio's keeping that team above ground here. So I would say Milwaukee. Now, the biggest disappointment, I would say, in the American League, and I don't want to copy your guys' work, copy and paste.
Isaiah's used to doing that.
Exactly. I thought Boston wasn't going to be as good. So I know they're good where they are. Baltimore, we talked about where it seems like they were regressing from last September on. Maybe Kansas City being 33-31. Because they came in with really high expectations to possibly win the Central. They re-signed some starting pitchers. They went out and got bullpen help. But it just seems their offense, it's just Bobby Witt Jr. sometimes. Other guys have to step up. And I really want to see him get busy at the trade deadline. So even though they're at 500, or above 500, I feel like they're a disappointment just because they should be kind of where their Twins are, where they're really surprising people, being steady. All right, the National League disappointment. I would say the Braves, yes, but Oh no, what were we doing? I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm good. I did mine. Isaiah, I want you to end this show. Well, let's get to the comments first. I know Jen had some, and they're basically what you see in the ETB chat there.
Yeah, I don't know why there's this box still.
Get
Oh,
lost,
the
you
box is
bum.
there.
Get
I'm
lost,
sorry.
you bum.
I just saw that right now. Okay, Isaiah, leave the hockey to the professionals. Isaiah, what are you doing? Edward Lee, yikes. NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals, and the Giants did win today 5-4 over the Braves. Wow, we've seen some crazy walk-offs, haven't we, Isaiah?
Yeah,
I want you to end this show or get into the NHL segment with your Game 2 impressions of the double overtime win
I put
Florida.
That in for you.
Well, I want you to talk about it. I watched the whole thing. I love playoff hockey, but since you're such an aficionado and you've been to 12 Shark games this year?
14.
14. Yikes.
Dude, you are a disgraceful NHL fan.
Right. The Panthers won 5-4. Oilers actually had more shots on goal at 46-42. I'll give you the goals, I guess. Sam Bennett started things off for Florida. In the first period, he scored 207. Evander Kane came back and got a goal. He's been big for them at the 7:38-9 mark. And Evan Bouchard in the first quarter at 9:19 mark, he got his goal. Seth Jones tied it back at 2 in the first period with 11:37 left, and then Leon Draisaitl had his goal to make it 3-2. It's been amazing to see. That first period was amazing for the game pretty much. And then the defense, number 42. I got to mention him for Miami. Or Florida. He really did well stopping the goals, whatever the cases were. Dmitry Kulfuk had the tying goal, 3-3, second period, 8:23 to go. And then Brad Marchand had the goal to make it 4-3 in the second period with 12:09. Then Corey Perry with 18:42 played. Scored late in the third period to tie the game at 4. Corey Perry, of course, the former Duck. And then Brad Marchand had that breakaway goal in the second overtime period at the 8:05 mark to win the game 5-4. And it's amazing to see, Isaiah, that you have a Boston Bruin longtime player come here and just make the Panthers even deadlier. We saw that in the deadline, and it just showed right here. Your impressions, yikes, of the Game 2 Stanley Cup final game between the Panthers and Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, very exciting. It's just like last year's Stanley Cup Finals, where the Oilers and the Panthers battled it out and went to 7 games. But I think my biggest takeaway was the Oilers blew it, just like the Thunder did in Game 1. They had a 4-2 lead after the first period or something like that. Like they were, having all the success, and then they just stopped playing well, to be honest. And that's why they lost. Yeah, no, they had a 3-2 lead. They had a 3-2 lead after 1. And then Florida scored two goals in the second period. But we knew that they were going to do it because they have a really good, high-powered offensive attack. And then Oilers scored another goal in overtime, or in the third period, and overtime, in second overtime. You got Brad Marchand. But that's why you brought in Brad Marchand because of his championship experience and his big game experience. You knew he was going to make a play like that. So I think Draisaitl was great. He's been amazing this series. Evander Kane got on the board. That's a name that I haven't heard in years, Evander Kane. Corey Perry, former Duck. But yeah, I mean, I think that this came down to, look, Brad Marchand, 2 goals. He's been outstanding this series, showing why they brought him in, and that trade has really paid off for Florida. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens now in games 3, 4, and the remainder, because, look, it's 1-1. We got a series now, and I think this, honestly, is going to go 7 games because these two teams just match up super well with each other.
I would love a rematch of last year going like that. Yeah, again, number 42 for my Florida. Gustav Forsling has the defenseman from Sweden. This guy, he was putting his body, his stick in front of the puck on the shots on goal. They're making some really timely saves, as every great goalie does for an NHL team. I was this game was so much fun, and it got really feisty a lot at the end of the periods too. There was a lot of like little like pushes or touches, whatever the case is in hockey. But I can't wait for Game 3, and that's on Monday. Then there's Game 4 on Thursday as well. So I'll be listening to those at work. We want to thank, I think, Nick for coming in. I think he's out for the evening. It's obviously almost 2 a.m. there. You can only have enough Isaiah Leon hot takes to keep going. That's the end of the topics. I guess we'll get into our final thoughts, right? For me, Isaiah, hey, thank you for having me on again at MI6. Obviously, I did not know about Cardi B dating Stefan Diggs because I'm not doing Entertainment Hour anymore. So I am off the entertainment.
Do we make the announcement?
Yeah, that I'm here. Sure.
Yeah. So James Gonzalez is joining MI6. He's back. So
oh boy.
Let's go. We're gonna have some fun.
Hopefully Ben, we'll do a show together with him as well. Really want to get into Boston sports, and the off season for the Celtics is going to be really, really something to see how they have to get under that threshold and what two players will be traded away or let go, whatever the case may be. So, Ben, I whenever you listen to this, I want to hear your takes on all that. The Red Sox falling, the Patriots already debacle with Stefan Diggs. That didn't take long, didn't it? But yeah, thank you for having me on, Isaiah. This was fun because I haven't talked sports like this in a long time. I know we do the streams on ETB where we're just solely focused, on the game that we're watching the stream. But this was a great an array of topics that I never really got anywhere else, to be honest with you. I never had panelists that really, really thought about what they were saying and actually went on great rants. So this was refreshing to hear. No doubt about that. It's not a shot. It was just reality. So yeah, thank you for having me on. And I'll let you close out the show with your final thoughts and any announcements from this network.
Yeah, it was a great show. This is my first show that I've done in like almost 2 months, so it was great to be back. I think James adheres to that comment. Yeah, I want to thank Nick for tuning in, or being
coming on.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a surprise that he actually came on and stayed the whole time. It's almost like 3 in the morning, where he is in New York. Or is it 2? Or it's 11? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. You're Oh my God. It's almost 3 a.m.
in the morning. Yeah. But yeah, no, good show.
Duh.
I think my final thoughts is the Sharks are interested in trading up for the number 1 pick. My Matthew Schaefer to San Jose dream is, alive and well. I got even a picture.
He's talking hockey again.
Yeah,
Callan,
that's what
talking hockey again.
San Jose.
Is that a Beatle?
What?
Is that John Lennon from the Beatles?
Might be his son. That's Matthew Schaefer, the projected overall number 1 pick.
All I see is a Beatle. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! But yeah, do it, Mike Greer, brother of Chris Greer, by the way, who's the Sharks GM. The Dolphins GM is the Sharks GM. But yeah, do the deal. Let's bring Matthew Schaefer to the Bay Area because let's face it, the Islanders, they want to take the guy that grew up as an Islander fan that has said multiple times, I want to bring a cup to New York. And James, I don't know how you feel about this, but a draft pick, a projected top 5 pick, who's not going to probably go number one, has been saying that he grew up an Islanders fan. He really wants to be drafted by them. He wants to bring a cup to the Islanders. And even said, I think that, but he even said that I think that he wants to potentially be an Islander in the future. So, like, if you're a team that's not the Islanders that draft him, I don't know how you feel about him potentially leaving, but let's face it, they want Higgins. We want Schaefer. We need defense. They need everything. Yeah. They want the hometown kid. Go get Matthew Schaefer and bring him and pair him up with Macklin Celebrini, man. But yeah, those are my final thoughts. And I'll say, ESPN is potentially thinking about getting rid of Doris Burke. Let's go, man. What?
She's not that bad, is she?
She's not that bad, but like I want someone else other than her. Like I think that she just doesn't fit with Breen, and I would even get rid of RJ, to be honest. Like,
yeah, he's good. They're probably gonna get rid of both. I won't doubt that.
I want can you try to get Reggie from NBC?
No, if he just signed. You're not going to overpay for Reggie. Game 2, by the way, on the ETB network. I think we'll all be there Sunday at 5. Is it? Yeah, 5 o'clock. So the pregame will be at 4:30 probably, or 4:45. That should be fun. Get your popcorn ready and hear us talk all over each other out of rhythm. Anything else? I want to go.
Yeah. Do you want to close with the Inside the NBA ending? I know you were talking about that. You want to give a little 2 cents on that?
Well, what the hell? On the ETP channel or the page or whatever it's called on TikTok, you can find my rant on there. I think on Instagram as well, right? So yeah, it was last Saturday, almost a week now. The last Inside the NBA show was made, or done, I should say, with TNT. The 4 guys, of course, Ernie, Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq in that chronological order, did their last show as they're moving to ESPN. Now, we saw Shaq, of course, raid the ESPN and NBA countdown set, playfully attacking Kendrick Perkins and sitting courtside. You can't miss him at Game 1 in Oklahoma City. That's probably the first time he's been in Oklahoma City since they went to the Western Conference Finals back in 2016, by the way. But Inside the NBA was an institution since 1989, of course, unsullied since 1989, as Ernie would say, before his Needle Stat of the Night. I just hope things don't change at ESPN. They said they'll have a hands-off approach like they do with the McAfee show, and I love that already. So you'll have 2 of my favorite programs along with PTI on ESPN after losing Around the Horn. But man, it was the best show on television on TNT, of course, other from the movies that you see. Rich Eisen is going on ESPN Plus. It's not the same. And I don't watch Rich Eisen podcast or whatever it's called, but it was the best show because Chuck could pretty much say whatever he wanted to, and it got really outlandish after a while. I think he had to tone it down because of the society, but Shaq was always, about his rings, about driving the bus, about being a better Hall of Famer than anybody else ever. Again, about the 4 rings, like a 4-ring chick. What do you have? You don't know how to win. He hated the big guys in the game, other from Jokic. He always railed on Embiid and Rudy Gobert and whomever else. Cat, I think, was the main target this year. But Ernie just kept that all going together somehow through the laughter and the adversity that he's gone through. And then Kenny's just been there since, 96 playoffs, I think. 97 playoffs, I think it was. He came in on that. And ever since then, he was there. And he's always been that voice that you want to trust and break down games. But it's pure comedy, and I will miss it on TNT because it won't be the same. It will never be the same. And I would rush home to watch that every night And I would love having Thursdays off, knowing, or not off, but I'd be in time after work to watch the whole damn thing. I would watch the tip-off show. Really wouldn't pay attention to the two games usually in the regular season because one would be a blowout, one would be close, kind of. The regular season is just nothing, basically, right? So, but they were the one show that everybody watched, like Michelle Beto, the PTI guys, people from other networks would always credit Dan Patrick, Le Batard as well. They would all credit Inside the NBA being the best show ever on television, on the sports show, I guess. But for me, it's television of all time. It was more about, they would talk more than just the game too. Life events, what's going on in their personal lives and players' lives, former players' lives. It would get serious at times, and it would be a circus at times. And, thankful that, a website, you could watch all the funny moments from the past. I have a hard time trying to find my top 5 moments, either emotionally or hysterically. But yeah, I'm going to miss that show on TNT, and it was just fitting that you had Reggie Miller and Spike Lee and all that going on with the Eastern Conference Finals as their last, show on TNT. So that was basically what I said with the reel on EBT, and I think on my also personal channel. By the way, you can find me on YouTube, The Chair with James. I do food reviews, and also on Halos on the Infield, I do a show called Around the League, where I think it comes out every Monday now. But basically, what we did with the MLB segment, I'll do with a couple of people. So find me on the Heedy Network, and then also ETB, watching the game streams, and then coming out with breaking news of sports events. Maybe we'll have a big bombshell later today, as it's past midnight. We'll see if there's a firing or if there's a hiring or an injury that's really big. We'll see what happens from there. Rumors will come out about either NFL or NBA players. We'll see who's on a boat and who isn't. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So let's leave it at that, Isaiah.
I agree. All right, guys, it's been great. Great show tonight. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Man, we went almost 2.5 hours, so it's better. It's not 3 hours, unlike some shows, but it's been a good show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Edward and Jen for.
Hi, Jen.
Thanks for Jen and Edward for tuning in. Thanks to Nick for coming on. But we'll see you next week. We're gonna do maybe something else maybe next week when we're free. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you again next week here on Sports Weekly and the MI6 Sports Network. Have a good night, everybody.
Don't play the intro or outro. Just turn it.
I'll do this.
Anything's better than the intro, Isaiah. I unmuted on purpose. I just wanted to talk over the 30 seconds like Tom Grossi does. Thank you for having me on MI6 again. Mr. Hockey.